All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Y'all, happy Tuesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just wanted to gather everybody around the round table tonight. We're not going to be here long. This may be a 35, 45-minute discussion, but this one is very interesting because the Real Housewives of Potomac, as y'all know, in 2023, Gizelle Bryant, she lost her father. She lost her father to brain cancer. And upon losing her father, right? She lost her father, she buried her father, and then she found out that she wasn't in the will. She wasn't in the will. Now, from what I can tell, welcome everybody. I'm just getting straight to the point because it's late and I know people are probably in bed and all of that. So please pardon me if I'm not speaking. I was like, you know what? We're going to get straight to the point. It's a little late, but I want to talk about it. This is like, this is one of my, I'm passionate about this because I'm a daughter and I'm a wife. And when Gizelle first introduced this as a portion of her storyline last season that she was going through this, I paused. This was a huge red flag for me because I'll get into that. And I thought, huh? You expect everything as a daughter? So to hell with his wife. To hell with the woman that he married and he slept with for this amount of years because he and Giselle's mom did not work out, right? That kind of thing happens. And from what we can tell from the show, Gizelle seemed to have a really good relationship with the father, but she really didn't talk a lot about her mother. So I'm just now finding out this season on the season finale, she really don't mess with her mama like that, and her mama don't mess with her like that. But she had a really good relationship with the father, and that's good. We want that. We promote that. That's awesome. That's good. And I hope your girls listen to this. I hope your girls have a wonderful relationship with their father, Jamal Bryant. But let's just imagine 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, Jamal passes away and he's been married to Carrie, and Carrie don't get nothing, and everything is supposed to go to your daughters because they are his daughters. I was like, no, we're gonna talk about this. I already know what I'm thinking. I knew what I was thinking when she introduced it on the show, right? I was like, girl, but I'm gonna hold my thoughts, y'all. I'm gonna hold my thoughts for a quick second. I was like, girl. So what's the fucking point of a woman marrying a man if you have grown kids that think they're gonna come in and you're not entitled to anything? What's the whole point of getting married? That thou shall leave and cleave. If you have kids that you've had prior to meeting that woman or prior to meeting that man, or it didn't work out with their mother or father or that baby mama and that baby daddy, you mean to tell me that now women are no good for anything but laying on their back? And that woman was supposed to let your daddy lay with her and hump her all these years, like Bobby say, ain't nobody humping around and don't get nothing? Nothing? We gonna talk about it. I'm about to get right into it. One of my subscribers sent me this snippet I'm gonna play, and she's like, "Queen Sheba, you have to talk about it." And at first, I was gonna try to weave it in with my Real Housewives of Potomac content, and I said, "You know what? No, 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 no. I don't even want to do it like that. I want to do it justice because this is a deeper discussion that I think we need to have. Number one, the wife is the freaking wife, and I'm shocked that Miss First Lady Gizelle would think that she would come before a wife when she herself has been a wife to Jamal Bryant. What about the wife? So y'all mean to tell me that you really think, as grown ass women who've given birth, you have your kids, your family, you have a failed marriage or you have a happy marriage, that once your dad goes on and he gets married, you really tell me that the line of thinking is when my father passes, I get everything. His wife is nothing. Thank you for cooking for him. Thank you for cleaning with him, cleaning. Thank you for all of the trips. But at the end of the day, to me, even if you are the daughter, you got to be careful what you wish upon other women. Because the I know Gizelle challenged the will and she said, now this is her version. I don't know, y'all. I wasn't in the hospital room. I haven't heard the wife's version. All we can go by is Gizelle's version. And Gizelle said that she contested the will in her father's post-death period because she was very close to him and she knew that he wanted everything to come to her and his grandchildren, his properties, his legacy. Everything. To me, that would be pretty cold-hearted. Even if he did, right? Even if he did. I'm not saying he did or he didn't. That would be pretty cold-hearted to leave your wife with nothing. But not only that, Gizelle, even if you got everything as the daughter, what you're reinforcing just by the way that you believe that a wife is entitled to nothing, what you're reinforcing is that women ain't good for shit and they don't deserve anything. So my question to y'all, if a man is legally married, who is truly entitled to his earnings when he passes away? His wife, his grandchildren, or his children? His wife, his children, or his grandchildren? Renika said, doesn't she have 2 siblings? Wouldn't it still be divided? But he has a wife. Gizelle left her father and went and married Jamal. He has a wife. Before we can even get to Gizelle and her 2 siblings, he has a wife. So Gizelle spent 2 years in probate court fighting the wife, contesting the will because she felt like basically the wife, what is it called? When you falsify documents and you sign somebody's signature without their permission. What's the terminology? She felt like the wife, help me out, y'all. What's the English word? Hold on. Forged. Thank you. His wife forged his signature. Forged his signature. That's what she felt. She said, there's no way. Now, my first question would be, do you have a will that's different than the one that you were challenging? That would be my first thing. Because here's the thing, y'all. Well, I'm gonna wait to get into it. But if I forget, say Queen Sheba, come back and talk about the will in the comparison of a will. Sugar Dumpling says, damn, I'm torn as a spoiled daughter and a wife. Maybe I will hook his adult kids up with a little change. See, that's what I'm saying. I can see it from both. I'm a daughter. My father got married when I'm a grown woman, right? But that's still his wife. But we don't know that. Okay, Toot is saying that the will was forged after his brain surgery. That's why I want to remind everybody that's her side of the story. We don't know that. And because the wife has yet to go public, the only thing we know is Gizelle's sides of the story. Gizelle feel like the will was forged, but the court says otherwise. I'm going to come back to this. Let me play what my subscriber sent to me. Give me 1 second.
I don't think that Gizelle's father is the person that she likes to believe that he is. Like, Gizelle, I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. Well, I'm not gonna hold your hand because I don't like you. Yeah, I think that your father is an ain't shit nigga. Like majority of these niggas are, quite frankly. And I know you like to believe and tell yourself that your daddy is like you was a daddy's girl and that you was the apple of his eye, but it's very clear that you wasn't. I think that you would rather tell yourself that, you know, somebody convinced your father to take you out the will, as opposed to you coming to the grips with the fact that maybe your dad is not the guy that you thought he was. This whole narrative, this age-old narrative that somebody came in like a thief in the night and convinced your father while they was on their deathbed to take you out the will, that shit is so old, so stale. Girl, if I had a nickel for every person who didn't get what they thought that they was going to get in their will and started blaming it on outside people, as opposed to just coming to grips with the reality that maybe their father didn't look at them the way they thought that they did, girl, I would be fucking rich. Like, I think it's easier for y'all to tell yourselves that somebody convinced your father to take you out the will, as opposed to just dealing with the harsh reality that your father didn't give a fuck about you enough to put you in the will to begin with. Like, or just maybe, hear me out, maybe your father didn't think that you would be able to handle that money properly, and he gave it to the person who he thought would. Like, there's so many things to take into consideration when you're curating a will. It's not so cut and dry. Now, him not leaving them grandkids nothing, yeah, he ain't shit for that. Like, there's nothing. I can't defend that. But that also lends itself to my initial theory that he's just a ain't shit nigga like most of these men are. Like, girl, you ain't the only. You're not the only woman out here with an ain't shit nigga as a father. Join the fucking club. Like, I'm sorry, Gizelle. I just don't think that you and your father was as close as you'd like to believe that y'all were. You try to make him out to be this noble guy and this great guy. Great guys put their children in their wills, put their grandkids in their wills. But that's very on brand. A lot of men don't be looking out for their daughters or for their kids the way they should in their will. You ain't the only one that's happened to. Every time it happens, y'all always blame outside forces. Y'all always put the blame on the wife. You want the wife to be more considerate of you than your own damn daddy? Be so fucking for real, Gizelle. Like, and then y'all be telling yourselves, oh, he would never, but he did. The proof is in the pudding. The shit is in writing how he thought about you. But instead of you coming to grips with that, you want to blame everybody else but your daddy. If your daddy wanted you to have some money, if your daddy wanted you to have access to his assets and for your children to have access to his assets, he would have made sure that you was taken care of, but he didn't. That's on your daddy. That's a huge reflection of your daddy's character. Stop trying to blame it on everybody else but him. I'm sorry. I'm so sick of that. Like, I be so tired when y'all do that. I don't think
That's it. Let me give y'all some background. You said past the holy whore. Monique was so corny, but it was funny. Pastor holy whore. Y'all, that was the corniest, funniest thing I've ever heard. But hold on. Let's get set up. So, all right, class, back to your books. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, let me give you a little bit of a rundown. So, Gizelle Bryant, after her father's death, she believed that her father's will was destroyed by his wife. Okay. So 2 years ago, her father lost his battle with brain cancer. Okay. And we got to see a little bit of her reaction to that in real time on season 10 of the Real Housewives of Potomac. And it seemed like, she had a tough time with not only losing her father, but the fact that she wouldn't be getting anything. And she found out that she was not in the will. So if you go back last season on season 10, episode 7, and I'm reciting realityt.com, the cameras followed her into the courthouse, but they had to turn off, right? They followed her into the courthouse as she prepared to contest the will that she says, wait a minute, I feel like somebody tampered, right? And with his will days before his death. According to Gizelle, she said that her dad signed a new will, even though he could no longer hold a pen due to his disease. And she believes that all of this was orchestrated, that this was a scheme set up by his new wife to come at her with the bullshit. Okay. As a result, she's been in probate court for 2 years petitioning her father's will, right? So she said prior to that new will that she was supposed to receive everything he had in his estate was going to be given to either her or her kids or his grandchildren. You know what? Let me not just say her kids, his grandchildren. She said, I ain't got no relationship with that new wife, me or my daughters. And I need to do this to feel like I'm at peace with his death. All right. Here's where we are now. Y'all say, well, how long has he been married to the new wife? It didn't say. All it said she was a new wife. New to a woman like Gizelle could be 10 years. New could be 5 years. New could be 8 years, 3 years. Now, let me ask you, my question still stands. If a man is legally married, and y'all keep it real, if a man is legally married, who is truly entitled to his earnings? His wife or his adult children or the grandkids? And y'all keep it real. You ain't got to say what you think I want you to hear. Who is truly entitled? You said a terminal illness and remarriage are major events. Yeah, they're life events. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Um, who is his wife? Let me see if I can find a picture of her because I see what y'all are. I thought I saw what y'all are saying in the chat. Do y'all know who the woman is? Or are y'all just being messy? Let me see. Cause oh my God. No, that ain't the wife. That's her? Okay. I see her. Y'all want to see her? She Creole. She's a Creole woman. No, that's not a Creole woman. That's Gizelle's mom, y'all. That's what Creole women look like from Louisiana. Some of them look white. You remember when you used to have slaves that could pass for white? And you go back to the old days? That's what a lot of many Creole women look like. Y'all saying, yep, I want to see. Well, her mom, back in the day, you remember back in segregation never, integration now. There were many black women and black men that could pass for white, although they were black. The lady that I'm looking at is Gizelle's mother. I don't know if there's a picture out here of her father's current wife, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't want to mistakenly identify anyone. But what I would like to do is real quick, I want to go back and play this clip that I just played for y'all. And then I'm going to react to the clip because I think a lot of y'all don't understand. First of all, I wouldn't give a damn if I was a new wife of 1 year. I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving here with something. If he asked me to be his wife, what makes you think that I don't get anything? What makes as women that grow up and who desire marriage and you fantasize marriage, and not all of you have had the pleasure of having your children with your husband, right? Sometimes you walk into these marriages as blended families. You have had kids before, whether you've been married before or not. He has kids before. What makes you think, or how can you possibly fix your mind to think that your husband is supposed to leave you everything, but your father is not obligated to give his wife anything? But if you're married, would not y'all, okay, would your heart be broken if you've been married to your husband and you lose him only to find out you don't get nothing and everything, all of the arguments, all of the fights, all of the sickness, to thick and thin, to death do us part, you don't get anything? Okay, you said Google said he was married to his wife for 20 years. 20 years, Gizelle? And you really, I understand what she's saying. Listen, he's my father. His legacy, he was a civil rights leader. His legacy comes to me. Then what's the fucking point of being a wife if she gets nothing? Because a man's job is to protect, to provide, even in his death. You say, yeah, we want to see who she is. I can't find her. And I don't want to put the wrong picture up because that could be detrimental. So here is the thing. That's crazy to me that Gizelle would think that that lady don't deserve anything from being married to her father. Now, I'm not saying that the will was not. I don't know anything. Shit, that lady may have switched the damn will. Would you? What if the lady had been married to him for 20 years and found out that, listen, my husband doesn't have a lot of time to live. Let's get everything in order. Watch this. Let's just say, let's play devil's advocate. Actually, let me drop the video one more time before I play devil's advocate. Let me drop the video one more time before I play devil's advocate. And then I'm going to open up the line. Here we go.
I don't think that Gizelle's father is the person that she likes to believe that he is. Like, Gizelle, I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. Well, I'm not gonna hold your hand because I don't like you. Yeah, I think that your father is an ain't shit nigga. Like, majority of these niggas are, quite frankly. And I know you like to believe and tell yourself that your daddy is like, you was a daddy's girl and that you was the apple of his eye, but it's very clear that you wasn't. I
don't think it comes down to her not being the apple of his eye, or him not being the man that she thought he was. I think he's exactly who she thought he was. Her father, somebody she honored, she admired, she adored, a man that's going to do the right thing. He was a civil rights leader. However, I think what you're trying to say is he's a traditional man. He's a man that honors marriage. He's a man that's going to make sure that his wife is very well taken care of. And he's a man that probably, let's just play devil's advocate. What if her daddy did, from long time ago, have his will set up, right? The wife is loving her husband. He's loving his wife. Neither one of them thought about changing anything. It was never brought up because they're good. They got a good relationship, right? You think you're going to be here forever. Then all of a sudden he gets sick. He's diagnosed with brain cancer. The wife is when you're, maybe he was in a state that was incapacitated and they came to her and said, listen, it's not looking good. They do say that. They told me with my brother, make your calls, get your affairs in order. It could be any day, it could be weeks, it could be months, but we're preparing you. So let's just say they did that to her, right? She never thought she would be losing her husband, didn't think anything of it, starts to go through the paperwork in the house, raise the mattress, Southern folks. Let me go look under the mattress, make sure we good, we caught up, and discovers, oh shit, damn, my husband hasn't updated this since however long ago. Wow. Oh my God. You know what? He's in and out. And when he comes in of being in and out, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing done. That could be one possibility. As the wife, does that rub y'all the wrong way as the wife? That's the first possibility. Right? We're going to play devil's advocate. That could be possible. Option number one. Option number two could be, well, Gizelle is saying that the document was changed a few days leading up to his death. So would there be an option number two? That means we would have to go solely based on Gizelle's word. We don't have access to any court documents. We don't have any documents to compare. We don't know when I don't know. I hate going just on one person's word. So I'm going to introduce an option number two. What if option number two was your daddy did update that shit when he got married and you are just now finding out and you feel like it must have been updated a few days before he died? We're going to go option number one, option number two. Let's continue the video. Then we're going to open up the lines.
You would rather tell yourself that, somebody convinced your father to take you out the will, as opposed to you coming to the grips with the fact that maybe your dad is not the guy that you thought he was.
Most people don't have conversations, take her out the will. Let me just say that as a wife. First of all, I get everything. Everything. And I have a stepson. My husband has a biological son, but it's both of our sons. but I get everything. Do you understand me? And my husband has enough faith, trust, and hope in me that I will provide for his offspring, who's a minor child. Are y'all following? Now, if he goes and changes it and pulls a whatever, then shit, I'm still okay because I still have policies. So I'm all right no matter what. Period. Got it? Ladies, gentlemen, are you listening? First of all, you shouldn't be sleeping with nobody that you can't pull a policy on. But we're going to come back to that in a minute. You shouldn't be living with nobody that you're not going to be taking. If the relationship leaves, if the relationship ends, what do you stand to gain? And don't be talking about no kids. If you are big and bad and bold enough to live with somebody, and big and bad and bold enough to make love to somebody and cook for them and clean for them, and know deep in your heart, shit, if you had to wipe their ass, you would do all of that. Maybe not want to, but you would. You should have a policy in place. And if he or she has an adverse reaction to you wanting to purchase a policy and you're saying you ain't got to pay for it, I'm going to pay for it. The people say they're going to come over here and take your blood, but I'm going to pay for it. And as long as I keep it up, I'm the policy owner. And not only that, you get one on me because I love you too. And the rules don't just work one way. Things are happening in the world. Either one of us can be sick or fall ill, or, because tomorrow's not promised. But I want you, one thing I don't want you to do is to have no damn GoFundMe behind me. And that's why we're having this conversation. So if you are in a relationship, and I'm going to be messy now, I'm starting mess. Don't go waking people up in your house now. Don't do that. Now, don't go do that. Get up. Queen Sheba said, hold up now. But that's something you should probably put on your to-do list for 2026. Baby, we need to sit down. Here's a Queen Sheba told me to get this nice bottle of wine. And you know what? Are we financially prepared? Should one of us leave this house or leave this earth? We don't even have no policies. Queen Sheba said, you can get one on me. Put it on me. Shit, I'll take the hit. Put it on me. Queen Sheba said, you can get one on me. I can get one on you. And as long as you keep it up, you good. As long as I keep it up, I'm good. If that person tells you no, you need to break up with them. Especially if you have children for them, especially if you're in relationships with them, especially if you're intimate with them, you're splitting bills with them. You mean to tell me you don't want me to be good? Should you leave this earth? You want me to struggle and have to do a fish? Okay. All right. Just say Queen Sheba said it. They can email me if they have any questions. Let's continue.
Whole narrative, this age-old narrative that somebody came in like a thief in the night and convinced your father while they was on their deathbed to take you out the will. That shit is so old, so stale. Girl, if I had a nickel for every person who didn't get what they thought that they was going to get in their will and started blaming it on outside people, as opposed to just coming to grips with the reality that maybe their father didn't look at them the way they thought that they did.
I get what this girl's saying. I just don't like the negativity around it. You don't have to mess up her relationship with her dad to prove your point. And I feel like you're headed in the right direction. It's a bit rough around the edges. It ain't about her daddy not being who she thought he was. I think he loves his daughter. I think we can see that. I think he wanted the best for his daughter and his grandkids. However, shit, his wife is his first priority, period. Point blank. And when a man loves you, for those of you that tuned in, he gonna make sure you straight, period. He made sure his wife was straight. Because Gizelle, if what we believe is true and he was married to that woman 20 years ago, you was with Jamal. That's the whole point, ladies. Picking a man that can provide, protect, and profess. So if he changed it over the course of the 20 years that he was married to the lady that you believe is a fraud and a scammer, he should have changed it. because he gave you a way to the pastor. He gave you a way to the minister. It's the minister's job to make sure that you and those girls are covered for the rest of your life. And Gizelle, if you don't have a policy on Jamal Bryant, you's a damn fool. Because, see, a lot of y'all think, well, my husband said he got a policy at work and I'm the beneficiary, but you can still own your own, boo. Did you not know that? In addition to what he said, because, yeah, you remember that lady that caught her husband cheating in the airport in the Americans Airlines lounge? Her name was Gail. And she discovered that her husband, Harold, who was a CFO making millions of dollars, was cheating on her with a little thought, caught him cheating because the airline called. She called the airline to see what time his flight was landing. And whomever it was being messy. When she gave them the itinerary number, they said, Mr. Harold and his companion, Mrs. Blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, I am Mrs. Harold. They said, no, the hell you ain't. Because he with old girl in first class. Now, the whole time he had been telling his wife she can't go on the work trips because I'm going to be busy all day. He was taking his side piece with him. Sabrina. Her name was Sabrina. Claudia Jordan's best friend. Yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Watch this. She confronts him. She starts looking at the credit card. Baby, he was whining and dining the side piece, right? Whining and dining the side piece. Come to find out, not only was he whining and dining the side piece, the man switched the life insurance policy, removed the wife as the beneficiary, and put the side on as the beneficiary. Put the side piece on as the beneficiary. The wife went to court and filed a motion for the judge to ask him to change it back. Well, first of all, the judge can't enforce that because he's the policy owner. He makes those payments. But if you was really about your life and about your business as a wife, that would have been water off a duck's back. That should have been small to a giant because you should have had your own. And I think a lot of women cleave and fight so hard when men don't treat them right because you're not set up financially and you haven't set yourself up for success. But when you get into these relationships earlier on, especially when they're in their 30s and 40s, and you're having the conversations that I'm telling you you should be having, hey, baby, and also for the men, hey, baby. Because, see, I think a lot of people would end up staying together. Like, hey, what Al Green say? I'm so in love with you. So you'll start to stay together when you realize a motherfucker got a policy on you. Because you become paranoid. Hold on, I ain't going nowhere. Because you're not going to have me on Dateline talking about I lit up a room when I walked in. I don't light up rooms. I'm a party pooper. Everybody hates Chris. I'm none of that. So I believe if more people would sit down and really talk that talk before they jump into bed and start having sex and producing kids, and then you're not prepared and it don't work. Yeah, let's be responsible adults. You love me, I love you too. Oh, you want some of this? Oh, I want some of that too. Oh, yes, yeah, yes, give it to me, baby. What you feel about policies? Because we talking about moving in and we talking about this and that. Oh, you don't want that? So we can't get married, but I can be a baby mama. We can't get married, but I can be a baby daddy. We can live together. We can do all of that. We can fight, we can cuss and scream and have these kids, but I can't get a policy. And if more of you would start getting policies, more of you would stay together longer. And if more of you start getting policies when men leave and cheat and not treat you right, you wouldn't even be worried about it. Go on about your business. Go on about your business. Because as long as I pay this policy for the next 20 years on time, it belongs to me. Go ahead. I don't care who you with. Because I'll be all right. But a lot of women cleave, I believe, because you're not thinking your way through the relationship. You're not setting yourself up for success. Who did we talk about? The Game said, Evelyn Lozada. We talked about that yesterday. He said, oh, she got pregnant pretty quick. She did. He finessed her. Talked her right up out of her womb She gave birth to a baby who he has little to no patience with because he said he went to hit the baby, who's a toddler who accidentally knocked over a cup of coffee. Her voice is quivering because she's asking him about his legacy on a podcast where her mama's all leaned up on him. You wouldn't be worried about his legacy if you got a policy on him. You already know what that legacy looks like and what you have set up for your son. But let's continue.
Girl, I would be fucking rich. Like, I think it's easier for y'all to tell yourselves that somebody convinced your father to take you out the will, as opposed to just dealing with the harsh reality that your father didn't give a fuck about you enough to put you in the will to begin with. Like,
Your parents don't have to put you in a will. How come you don't have policies on your parents so that when you do, God, they say in the South, the right ways for the parents. Most parents say, the right order of life is for me to go before my kids. How come y'all don't have policies on your parents? Well, my mama got insurance. Well, a lot of people find out that when their parents pass away, that the policies have lapsed because your parents are not high performers financially that they used to be when they were raising you. And sometimes in older age, they can't afford that $30, $40, $50 on a retired income. But how come, or let me ask you this, let me put it in a positive. How many of you have policies that you manage financially on your own parents? And not, because we're talking legacy. Because Gizelle, if you had your own policy from the get-go, because you seem like a smart woman, but you may have forgotten that you wouldn't have to fight his wife for what's rightfully hers. It is perfectly legal if you sit down with your parents and get permission, especially if you have siblings, because a lot of you know that there's a huge question mark that your siblings may not be fair. Let's say some of your parents aren't married or they've lost their spouse and they are widowed. And you'd be like, I know my brother would act a fool. I don't know if my younger sister would be fair. And that seems to be mom's favorite. Do you know that by being financially savvy, you wouldn't care about any of that if you had your own? Yes, you can have a policy on your mom. You just need her to sign it. They'll come to the house. Now, don't go through anything on your father. They'll come to the house, they'll do the blood work, and based on the results of the lab work that the nurses get when they come and they do the blood, that will determine the price of the premium. But yes, you can. Therefore, you're not having to fight siblings. How much can you contribute? Nobody has tens of thousands of dollars ready to give away for an unplanned death.
Like, or just maybe hear me out. Maybe your father didn't think that you would be able to handle that money properly, and he gave it to the person who he thought would.
I can see that. That's one thing I agree with you on. Maybe your father changed that will and didn't tell you because he didn't want Jamal Bryant to get anything that belonged to him. Because your dad was very upset, Gizelle, about 6 to 9 months before he passed away, when you said that you were dating Jamal. Your dad became so visibly upset on camera that he left set. Possibility number 3. Did dad switch will then? That man was very upset. Let's continue.
Like, there's so many things to take into consideration when you're curating a will. It's not so cut and dry. Now, him not leaving them grandkids nothing, yeah, he ain't shit for that. Like,
I disagree. I disagree. They have a father, just like she had a father. They have a father. That's Jamal's job, if he chooses to, or Carrie's job. Carrie doesn't have kids, correct? Carrie Bryant. Am I correct? Help me out. To my knowledge, Carrie Bryant does not have kids. Somebody talk to me. Somebody keep me honest real quick. Thank you. Carrie Bryant does not have. So we're not going to say that man isn't nothing because he didn't leave those. Those are not his children. Those are his grandkids. Now, it would be nice, but he has a wife. Once his daughter, he gave his daughter away to Pastor Jamal Bryant, and she procreated with their father to have them. Is if Jamal chooses to, and if Jamal had remained married to Gizelle, he would leave the legacy to Gizelle. She would in turn take care of the kids. That didn't work. They divorced because of adultery. Now he's remarried. Let me tell you, y'all don't know how husband and wives talk. Y'all have no idea how that pillow talk go. Y'all be think that's my daddy. You don't know what. Listen, you can't do to your daddy what that woman can. Okay, you can't make daddy feel the way that his wife can. Y'all have no idea what husband and wife be talking about in their house. You took my daddy. Your daddy told me everything is for me, and I hope you do the right thing. I trust that you will do the right thing. So let's not say that man's not crap because he didn't leave those girls anything. Those girls have a father. Those girls have a mother now that are responsible for their well-being.
There's nothing I can't defend that. But that also lends itself to my initial theory that he's just a ain't shit nigga like most of these men are. Like, girl, you ain't the only you're not the only woman out here with an ain't shit nigga as a father. Join the fucking club. Like,
girl, stop. Now that man was a decent, upstanding man who showed up for his daughter. That's it. That's it. Who showed up for his daughter, but a man that also took his vows serious as it relates to his wife.
I'm sorry, Gizelle. I just don't think that you and your father was as close as you'd like to believe that y'all were. You trying to make him out to be this noble guy and this great guy.
And he was. He probably was. Girl, what is it's not either or. And can I say this? Even if the wife did change the fucking will, and she the wife. How many of you as a wife would change your husband's will if you found out Princess Love and Ray J are still married? I hope Princess got a hefty policy. Maybe that's why she's sitting at home pretty. She don't care who he's. I hope. You see what I'm saying? Probably thought that they would do forever and he would grow old, but Ray J chose otherwise. But Princess, are you set? Are you ready to go? Maybe that's why Princess ain't tripping about who he's sleeping with. But if you found out that your husband didn't have long to live and you were getting the affairs in order under the recommendation of the clinical professionals, and you discover, wait a minute, this will is so outdated. We're going to get this. We're going to change the beneficiary because it's not about Gizelle. I think your train of thought was she talked him out of removing me. No, we just fucking updated it. I am Mrs. Graves. We're going to get this updated. Would you update the policy? Even as a man, if you found out your wife was diagnosed with brain cancer, you wouldn't even thinking about no policies, right? You wouldn't tripping off of that. Y'all travel all over the world, but the doctors say go ahead and get things in order. And as you're digging through paperwork, you're like, oh my God, my wife has not updated her stuff for years. Would you update yourself as the beneficiary? That's my question.
Great guys put their children in their wills, put their grandkids in their wills, but that's very on brand. A lot of men don't be looking out for their daughters or for their kids the way they should in their will. You ain't the only one that's happened to.
It's not about them not looking out. When y'all decide to go get married and you gonna do this and your daddy done told you he ain't shit and you want to have multiple kids, not get married, I wouldn't put you in mind either. And most of them do it not because you say they no good. Not you said he's a no good man. No, you hard headed. And most men don't want no bomb ass, raggedy ass, trifling ass nigga having access to his shit that he's worked hard for. So since my daughter is out here acting like she don't know any better, take her damn name off of that. Because if I go, he gonna con her up out of all my damn houses. You remember when Kim, what's her name? Kyle. What's Kyle's sister's name? Kim what? What's Kim's last name? Kim, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You say, my God, today. My God, today. See, y'all be she talked you out of it. Your daddy may have took you off that wheel because you was talking crazy about getting back with Jamal. Maybe he never liked Jamal. Y'all don't, parents are smarter than what y'all give them credit to. And if I can't talk you out of leaving a man that's cheating you, and if I can't talk you out of giving him another chance, hell no. Kim Richards was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she accused Kyle Richards of stealing her home from her that her mother left to her. That's what parents are afraid of. That you gonna let these young niggas come up in there, tear up their houses, drive down their property, not take care of the livestock, sit and smoke weed all day, smoke weed every day, and do all of that. And they go and remove y'all from these wheels. Cause you're running around here like you ain't got no damn sense. Kim Richards said, you let your husband steal our mother's home. And then you follow up 5-6 years later, Mauricio decides he wants to separate and have a divorce, and he owns all of the properties. You get what I'm saying? That's why parents be switching up on y'all because they can't tell you nothing. I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines for about 10-15 minutes. What are your thoughts on this? When a man is legally married, or when a woman is legally married, who is truly entitled to their earnings, to their legacy, should they pass away and they have adult children? You say, way before we go putting her daddy on a pedestal, do a deep dive into what he said. Well, that don't even matter because he gone. And he may have acted like that. But see, but that's off topic here for the real tea. That's off topic, right? Because the topic, okay, that was back then. We learned, right? We all do stupid shit when we're younger. But what's on topic is who's entitled to his legacy. Queen Tulsa, welcome. What are your thoughts?
Yes, Queen. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I just want to this is not rest in peace to Mr. Curtis Graves. He was a member of the Texas House of Representatives. So it's big, Mr. Graves. This man made history. He was the African American civil rights activist and politician of the state of Texas, and one of the first African Americans to serve in Texas House of Representatives since the Reconstruction. So let's get that out the way. When you talk about legacy, that man did not want Pastor Holy over there ruining his legacy. When it comes to the wife, if I had saw it, baby, it would have been an update and irrevocable. And I want anytime you sign irrevocable, they can't reverse it, they can't change it or anything like that. So anytime you're signing on a dotted line, I got more to sound off on, but go ahead.
Go ahead. All right, Valerie, go ahead.
Excuse me. Oh, Lord.
Take your time, girl. Take your time.
Let me say, first of all, how you doing, girl? I love you. I love you. I love
Hey,
you.
Val. That's my friend Val. Hey, Val.
Hey, girl, let me tell you, this conversation is everything. First of all, as a wife, and I have been a wife for almost 40-something years, taking nothing from the children and no one else. That man and that woman she had every right to be on that policy. I'm sorry, Gizelle, you went got married. He sent you off. You had kids. That's your responsibility and your husband, baby daddy's responsibility. And for the young lady that was on there speaking, she has some issues she needs to work through. At the end of the day, like you said, go get a policy for your parents so that you can make sure that they're good when that time comes. And when it comes to the husband and wife, when I'm having pillow talk with my husband and he's having pillow talk with me, what we decide is our business. You'll find out on that glorious day. And that's all I said.
I know that's right. Real quick, because you've been married. First of all, this is y'all. This is Valerie. She owns she has her own her own radio station. She does content, does a really good job. And she's been with her husband for a number of years. They have kids together, they travel together. And listen, I consider you're an expert in this. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Can you say who has exclusive rights to the money, to the legacy, to the earnings should a spouse pass away? The kids or the spouse, in
The
your
spouse.
opinion?
Period. The spouse. Period. 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 Now, if you choose that you want to leave something, I'm going to give a little bit over here and a little bit over there, but it starts with the spouse. In our house, 100%. If something happens to me, my husband got it, and we have how we want to have that distributed out. We also, and that's one policy. There is something that we're leaving for our children, but that can change at any day. Like someone said earlier, that it depends on what the kids are doing in that season. If they're not seasoning the way they should be and the way you train them, why would I leave them thousands of dollars and they're mismanaging their own funds right now? I'm just saying. So I do believe that it is for the husband and the wife to take care of each other.
And perfect. One more question before I go to the next caller.
Sure.
In your opinion, because you're a mother and you have sons and daughters, let's just say you have every intention, you and your husband, on providing property and this and that, and then they get with somebody that you feel like, wow, I know I raised my child better than this, but this person that they're leaving and cleaving to has this dominant influence over them. And I don't feel comfortable with this person having access to my legacy through my child. Is it normal for parents to say, hell no, I'm about to update my will because you will not get my stuff?
Well, first of all, I'm going to have that conversation with my children and say, hey, baby, what you doing? What's going on? Then I'm going to say, you know what, since you can't reverse your situation, I'm going to reverse my situation because he will not enjoy the fruits of my labor. Period.
That's it. I love it. Val, thank you for calling in. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, girl. I'm enjoying it. Keep doing what you're doing. Proud of you.
Okay, look. All right. So we're going to keep this conversation going. Y'all, that was Valerie. And drop your radio station down in the chat. Conversations with Val. Listen, Cynthia, what are your thoughts?
Hi everyone. Thank you, Queen Sheba, for having me. Really appreciate it. So I was a young widow. Meaning I was a widow at 31 and he was 35. He died from cancer. Thankfully, we had all of these discussions way, way before because his father had died when he was 15 from cancer and his mother had cancer as well. And thankfully did not die. But from early on, we got together when I was 19, he was 20, in his 20s, like I want to say 23. And these conversations were had. They had to be had because of, health reasons and all these things that could come up. But everything was left to me and my child. And of course there was no other kid, no other wife or anything like that. And it didn't make it so. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're just listening. Go ahead. We're on mute. We don't interrupt.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I don't know if I'm heard or not.
Yes, we're on mute while you're talking. We can hear you.
I'm
Can
going
y'all
to mute
let her?
myself for now because I'm not
No,
sure
we
if
can
I'm
hear
being
you. Don't
heard.
worry about our response. We can hear you. Let her know we can hear her. Y'all, we go on mute when y'all are talking. Don't worry about if we can hear.
We can hear you. If you can hear me, we can hear you.
Yeah, don't we just try not to interrupt. Her audio must have went out. Let's see. Give her a couple of seconds. Okay, Trey, you want to go ahead and go?
Sure.
Hi, everyone.
Okay,
Oh,
Trey,
never
you
mind.
want to go ahead and go? No. Go ahead, Val. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Sure.
Hi, everyone.
No. Go ahead, Val. Go ahead, Cynthia. Okay, Trey, go ahead and go, Trey.
Okay, I'll be quick. I'm not for certain what happened with him is what caused his decline, but of course, we would always love for our children and our children's children to receive something. But if we're being honest, let's be real. The wife was the one that was probably picking him up, feeding him. Hold on, I think we got an echo. She
Go
was
ahead.
picking
Go
him
ahead.
up, feeding him, wiping his butt, doing all of these things on his decline. She deserves every penny that he has and he wanted to give her. He probably looked at Gizelle as Gizelle, my daughter is successful. She's on TV. My granddaughters are all going to college. They're doing things, so they're okay. So I'll see it like that. He may have been looking at it like I already gave you over to that man, and he was supposed to take care of you. But I truly believe that he just thought that they were going to be all right anyway, and he more than likely thought that his wife would be in most need of what he had left to offer after he passed.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, Cynthia, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you guys. Okay, so I can't hear anything that's happening at the same time as I'm trying to speak, so I'm just going to say what I need to say. But um as a young widow, my late husband passed away when he was 35 from cancer. I think I was saying also that his father passed away when he was 15 from cancer, and his mother had cancer. Um, and so we had a lot of these conversations way before we should have had to, in our early 20s. And all this paperwork was done. So by the time that he passed away, that stuff was already in motion. And everything did go to me as his wife. Um, and it was really kind of surprising the how people viewed that, like as far as like the family and things like that. Um, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this where first of all, not a lot of young couples, die. But like, I don't know if you guys ever experienced where like someone passes away and you have your affairs in order, but people feel as though they should have been in something. And I guess that's what we're speaking about when it comes to Giselle. Um, but I do believe that everything should go to your best friend. I think that the conversations that you have should be should the conversations that you have with your best friend when everyone else is gone and everyone is outside the circle, your friend should trust you enough to handle whatever it is that you need to handle and vice versa. But that's all I'm going to say. I cannot hear anyone. So oh, thank you so much, Queen Tulsa. It's a hard loss. It takes a long time to get over. I'm still not over. It's been like it's going to be 10 years next year, and I just turned 40. It's to have such a great friend like this, whether you're married to them or not married to them, but to have such a great life partner like this is something that takes a toll on you that money can never ever duplicate. And it only helps, um and people don't understand how little it actually helps, but it helps with the everyday things like
Yep.
that, but it doesn't help with your grief. So don't get that twisted. It's not a prize, to have your person die and then to be the beneficiary, because not only you have to make the decisions with the money, but you also have to make the decisions when they are no longer able to make those decisions for themselves, but they're still living.
Yep.
And having to be the one to cut the cord, having to be the one to end all English is my second language. I'm trying to find the words, but having to be the one to tell the doctors, hey, we're not going to continue with this particular treatment and that particular treatment. That's hard too. Like money is one thing, but people have to understand all of these things are hard. All of these things are hard. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna say. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. That was Cynthia. See, and that's important. She said, listen, I lost my spouse at age 30. That's very unusual, right? In your 30s. But listen, you remember I told you, Donia, let me pause before I keep going. Donia, I can see you, but your device isn't connected. So what you're gonna have to do is drop down. I'm gonna drop the link for you. I'm gonna kick you out the studio, Donia. And then you come back and you adjust your audio in your camera before you come in, and then you hit enter studio and you'll be good to go. Y'all remember when we started talking about this earlier? And I said, listen, before you get into the nook and cranny of a relationship and start to have sex and have kids and allow your hormones and your feelings to take you to a whole other world, ain't no coming back from that. Cynthia said we were 30, but listen, 30's young. They had their affairs in order. He died at 30. He passed away. She lost the love of her life, her best friend at 30. So in their 20s, they had that conversation. In their 20s, they had those policies set up. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And like she said, it doesn't make it easier. But in the words of Dave Ramsey, no, not Dave Ramsey, it was my insurance guy. He said, they're going to miss you, but don't put them in a position to miss you financially that you can't live in the house because they're gone, because you don't have a policy. You have to move up and give up the property. If you get the affairs in order, you're going to miss them. And all you have to worry about is grieving, not how you're going to pay the bills, not where can we go? You're not going to, if you set yourself up right and you're both responsible, you can take off as much time as you want from work. You're not worried about a 3-4 day bereavement period or you're going to lose your job. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's all. That's it. That's all. So this, unfortunately, Cynthia lost her best friend, her spouse, but her example is one of it's a perfect example to what I'm saying. If you have those conversations early, it helps. And people were mad. Like Gizelle had a problem with. Couldn't believe, at 30, couldn't believe that she got everything. But here's the thing. Some of you have children. Some of you have the love of your life, but they just don't get along well with your kids and your family. Tell your kids, then you can get a policy on me, baby. But I'm going to take care of my husband or I'm going to take care of my wife. That's why I was saying you can get a policy on your parents if you sit down and if they're okay with it and if they sign the policy, and you would designate yourself as the owner of the policy. Not only the owner is the person that makes the payments. So you would be the owner and the beneficiary. Watch this. And then you designate a second beneficiary. Well, why would I do that? What if you and your mom are in a car together and God forbid you go in a car accident? You need a second beneficiary. You don't want the state and the government to get that if you perish as a primary beneficiary. So then you designate, you can do that. It's free. A second beneficiary and a third beneficiary. That's it. I'm teaching y'all game. Tulsa, Trey, what are your thoughts?
My question is, what was her relationship with her father when he was alive? What was the relationship with the stepmother, or the bonus mother, or his wife, to be exact? What type of communication did they have, and why wasn't there a conversation, or why did she feel that she couldn't come to her? What foundation did they have? Um, those are just my thoughts.
Well, we can only go by which we see. And what we've seen how Gizelle has interacted with her father, she seemed to have a very strong relationship and a positive relationship with her father. One of mutual respect, one of love and admiration. That's the first thing. Based on Gizelle going on record, the relationship with her father's wife, because we're not going to say her stepmom because they're old enough, you get in there, they ain't my stepmama, but her father's wife she had no relationship with her father's wife, she or her daughters. It was non-existent. Here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you, and this may hurt some feelings. That's a man in his 70s, maybe 80s. He don't need to be talking to Gizelle about nothing. That's a married man. She's not a child. He don't owe her anything when he has a wife. He doesn't have to get her permission or give her a heads up. Hell, like Valerie came up here and said, my kids will find out when they find out at the round table.
Right.
This is given like the Braxton's 2.0, but go ahead.
How?
What you mean
Their
by
parents
that?
are still here.
I mean, because when you think about, okay, there's a new woman there. I mean, there's a new wife. There's no relationship with her. What did you expect to happen? Like your relationship and the foundation, whether if I like my dad's wife or not, I'm going to respect her. I'm going to have some type of relationship with her because you're with my father. If, my dad gets ill or Lord forbids, I want to be able to have a relationship to where you would call me. I mean, my dad is up in age. He's not no spring chicken out here. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to read this comment. Stacy said, no, that's still his baby girl. But his baby girl can't tickle his pickle like his wife. You
Y'all are a
cannot
mess.
put your child above your wife. Like, y'all, I don't get like that. I'm not crucifying anybody.
I'll
What?
help
Right.
you, Queen. When
Thank you.
you go and you say, yes, I do, that's the end of me
Period.
answering to daddy. That's end of you answering to your mama. It's not about them, baby. I'm first. I am first in your life, whether you have children or not. The wife, well, we put God first, and then it's our spouse, and then it's everybody else. So I'm trying to see what matrimony did they sign up for? Go ahead.
Well, I'll give Gizelle this because that is her father, and clearly she was a daddy's girl. Now I do still stand with my other sentiments in that the wife deserved to get everything that she has or everything she will, so everything that she did get. But I will say I can't fault Giselle for having the thought, okay, now what's going on? Why I'm not getting anything? Like, why are these? Why was the paperwork changed to where I can't even get $5 out of this situation? So I mean, I can see that. Like, it's like it almost kind of can put something in her mind as to, well, was our relationship not as good as I thought it was, because he's not leaving me anything. So when you're losing a parent, that's, or losing somebody that's very close to you, and you realize that they haven't left you anything behind. I can see her feeling some type of way about it and wanting to fight for it. However, I do still believe that the wife, she was the one that was, feeding him and picking up his boo, cleaning up his boo boo and all that other kind of shit. She deserves everything that she got.
And if he was with her, let's just say he was in his 70s or 80s, she had some good times. 50 is not old. He
Right.
was still strong and handsome and good looking and all of that. So I think it's unfair. I understand the argument of Giselle being close to her father, but you're not his wife. And when we think about Genesis 2 and 24, it says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. In order for him to not give her anything, he would have to, that's like him cutting off his own flesh. And Giselle's the first lady, so she should be the first one to understand, or she should be the first one. I'm not saying you don't fight for it, but I wouldn't feel no kind of way. I would have had my own orders and affair, my own, my things in line. I
Affairs in
like,
order.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
affairs, orders, and affair. My own, hey, affairs and order. Hey, listen.
Hold
Woo-hoo.
on, hold on, hold on. Wait a minute.
May I add
Woo-hoo.
something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Cynthia.
Okay, so you said something and you hit the nail right on the head. When we got married at a young age. Not only that, though, we sealed our relationship, meaning we knew that we didn't want to take some of the stuff that we had witnessed from our families. We wanted to create a new legacy, which meant that we spiritually had to seal our family. And I think that that goes above a lot of people's heads when it comes to marriage. Once you get into your particular nuclear family, that's your family. That's your responsibility. All the pieces of that particular family is yours to be responsible for. And I understand, we're looking at celebrities and we're like, okay, well, what is their marriage like? And I understand too with Giselle feeling like she was her, her father's everything, feeling like, okay, this is my last hope of like having something from my father, and having that rage and that anger because daddy's leaving and she doesn't have a close relationship with mom. That can be all encompassing, right? But yes, you're right. She needs to understand, and she does understand this because she was married, and she was married in the church, that once you're in a family and that's your person, like, that's how things go. So it's people have to go back to understanding what marriage is supposed to be.
I want to say this. And so this just occurred to me while Cynthia was talking, and we're talking about leaving Cleveland. And I'm looking at Giselle, I'm looking at Jamal Bryant, I'm looking at Giselle's father, and all of this. Giselle's mother. I don't believe that Giselle's mother has remarried. Stunning woman. Giselle looks like her mother to me. Not, they don't have a particularly close relationship, blah, 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 according to Giselle. Giselle's father remarried. Jamal Bryant remarried. Giselle has yet to remarry. That's neither here nor there. That's not a negative. But what I feel like is happening or could be happening, and the reason why this is so important to Giselle, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, Giselle, but it's a bit of accountability. It's almost like breaking in a new pair of shoes. Giselle's in her 50s. She's starting to settle in. When you start to settle into the shoes, now they feel a little bit comfortable. They're a little bit worn, and they're
Baby, you better talk about it.
come on, and they're comfortable. I think Giselle is settling into life, and she probably has come to the realization that I probably won't marry. That legacy would be really important to her coming from her father if the probability of marriage has declined and decreased. Because now I got to work my ass off in my 50s. And although it's a phenomenal opportunity to be on Bravo, I got to figure out how to stay on Bravo. And now that I've found out, I can see why she would fight for 2 years. Now I'm fighting for 2 years because, listen, I don't want to be doing this reality shit all the time, having to subject myself. It's tiring, it's exhausting. And yes, the pay is good, but I don't want to do it forever. And with that legacy and with those properties and millions of dollars and rights to this, and I own the brand of this and civil rights. And if you read the room and the climate of the world today, this will be right on time for me. Can we talk?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Giselle, she needs substance for that. Like,
No,
no
that's
offense.
subjective. That's subjective. It doesn't
Okay.
matter what we think, right?
Hmm.
I,
We
I agree
what
with you,
you
Queen,
get what I'm
because
saying?
there's another there's a layer of that I understand, as far as I question why he would not want to continue the generational wealth that comes with giving your children and your children's children, money to continue on. So I see it in that sense. I definitely agree with you.
Because he's
Can I
watched
wake
his
it up a little bit?
daughter go from man to man. He didn't want his daughter. The last time we saw Giselle with her father, he was visibly upset. He stormed out of the room when she said that she was rekindling her relationship with Jamal Bryant. That's why he wouldn't want to continue the legacy. If he felt, men are very territorial, they're very aggressive, they're very protective. He's not getting anything. And that could have been his state of mind. And maybe his wife knew that. Go
But
Well,
ahead.
peep
Giselle,
this
it was
out.
up to Giselle to like gain some substance for herself, knowing that, okay, now she's 50, she doesn't want to do all these things, or 50 or above. She
Well,
doesn't want to
she
do
should have
all these
listened to
things.
daddy.
She that part, and also gain like a personality beyond her looks. But for people to care beyond that, like, I feel as though she's been using that for a long, long, long time. But along with your looks, you have to have some type of substance as well and make people understand you're human and
No,
that
you
you
don't.
hurt.
Okay, I think that's
Mhm.
different. I think we're going down a different path. She doesn't
Okay.
have to have substance to gain access to her father's legacy.
My
Can I
question
bring
is,
it back, Queen?
I was a little late to the video. Did you actually talk about what was left in the? Do we know what was left? Like, were there millions of dollars that she was fighting for, or?
Listen, Tulsa, run down his resume.
Listen here. First and foremost, Mr. Bryant is not just an ordinary man. He was actually was an American civil rights activist and politician in the state of Texas. He was one of the first African Americans to serve in Texas House of Representatives since the Reconstruction. He actually was in District 23-6, and he's actually born in New Orleans. Okay, his party was the Democratic Party, and his spouse was Kay Bryant. Go ahead. Oh, he's an alumni at the Texas Southern University, and he attained a BA, and he also attended Princeton University, and he obtained his MS. Go ahead. When we think about legacy,
Okay, let
when
me
we
read
think
it, and then I'm gonna go to American Born. It says Giselle Bryant's father, the late civil rights figure and former Texas representative Curtis Graves, had a significant legacy. Significantly. See, when you think about, let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this. I hope she ain't listening, but if so, friend, I love you. I have a friend that lost her mother the same time I lost my brother. Her mother has a problem, not a problem, a property in rural Louisiana. Beautiful property that she probably got during her days for little to nothing. And it's probably worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions right now. All of that land when we're talking significant legacy. I got on Instagram a month or two ago. I said, "Are you going to sell it?" She said, "Are you crazy? This has been in my family for years." That's the type of legacy we're talking about. Cattle, land, Louisiana, Boulay. So significant. There isn't, it's not publicly detailed. It goes so far back, they can't even trace it. We're talking about, so yeah, I mean, I can understand her plight. Like, hold on, this lady just pulled up 20 years ago. She get all that shit?
Yeah, I can hear I hear what you're saying, Queen. Now I can't really equate his education or his work with him having land, because I just don't know that he had. I don't. It's not really saying to me that he had all of this. He may have. Now I do believe he must have had something for her to be going to the courts and
Oh,
fighting for
absolutely.
2 years for it. But I do think that I I don't know. I feel like she still has his legacy because she
But
is still
I
his
don't
she
know
daughter.
if
didn't have
you,
it though, Trey, because she said he wanted to provide generational wealth. Whatever it is that
Okay,
she was fighting over would provide generational, not Giselle, but
gotcha.
generational wealth. So there had to have been some land.
Something substantial. I got
Yes,
you.
that's all I'm
but
saying.
let me get in there. When you talk about big pimping, okay, when you talk about somebody growing the stuff at the church, how is that going to match up with the councilman? How is that going to add up with the? Come on now. When you think about Daddy knows best. Daddy saw something. Daddy is a stand-up guy. Daddy is not no. He don't move like that.
Okay.
And guess what? Real men, I'm going to say it like this: gangsters move in silence. Daddy was an OG. Daddy was a gangster. Daddy didn't play the radio. Yeah, you got the pretty face and all this and that, but you out here and you doing all this, like I said, it's big pimping.
Well, let me
Big
say this.
pimping,
Let me let
allegedly.
Cynthia come in, and then American Born, you're up next. Cynthia, did you want to fire off real quick, or should I go to the next caller?
So I just wanted to clarify when I kept saying substance, because you be going quick, 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 Queen Sheba. So and I catch a little bit of it, but what I was trying to say, when you were speaking about how, at this point in her life, she may be thinking about, well, what other ways? I'm not going to get married again. I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to have that. Right. And we're talking about, okay, her father's legacy, which are things that should be spoken on. As you see the first gray hair coming out, these things should be spoken on every year, but especially when you have such a great legacy. When I kept on trying to speak about substance, I speak about substance because at some point before she was this age, 10 years ago, she could have seen, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to get married. Or maybe I can start actually having a good personality so that I can find another partner to be with for the rest of my life. Right. And that's what I meant with the whole substance issue. Substance is not a part of her father's legacy, meaning it's not required. She's a daughter, she's blood, so it's not required. But when it comes to having other people kind of invest in you beyond you having to play this character on a reality show for God knows how long, and not being able to relieve yourself from that duty, there has to be more to you than a pretty face. That's all I was saying. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Queen Sheba. You have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Cynthia. All right, y'all. That's Cynthia. She's dropping down. Um, okay, so I want to say this to who was it? This one. I think this is the comment. Shawnee says, I believe Giselle's father wasn't in his right mind because there is no way he would have totally written out his granddaughters. He would have written out his granddaughters out of his will. Let me just say this, y'all. People don't write you out of their wills. They update their wills. And if you look at it like that, I hope that helps in the future. Should something like that happen to you, you don't take it as they didn't want me. They update it, and they may or may not let you know. I've updated shit a lot. You piss me off, you out of here. We back. Okay, give her 15%. Give her nothing. I'm for real. Y'all think I'm lying, but people are people, and people be peopling.
But
Okay.
Queen, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, somebody else wanted to speak.
No, go ahead, real quick. American
I
Boy,
just
you
had
got to jump in there after this.
a question for you. So, what do you think would cause him to update his will
He didn't.
to not include the granddaughters?
He
Because it's
didn't.
Jamal.
different for him to be mad at Giselle and whatever she's going through with her love life. That's cool.
Mm-mm.
But for him to not include the granddaughters, why
Yes,
would you
they're
think that he would do
minor.
that as well?
He don't like Jamal. He didn't like Jamal. Listen, kids,
Now that's the nasty word.
they're still their dad. No, kids. Hold on, I'm gonna mute you,
I'm
American Boy.
sorry.
The kids love their parents, right, wrong, or indifferent. See, I can feel some kind of way about you, but if you got daughters, they're gonna love you all the way to the end. See, I can finesse something out of minor kids. I can get my daughter to let daddy live in the house. This is a man, y'all. This is not a woman who has a legacy. This is a man who's protecting his legacy, even if it means updating it so that none of the women get anything. Women are a little bit weaker when it comes to men, when it comes to property and businesses. And hell, y'all be letting niggas drive your car while you at work. Go ahead,
What about
American
the?
Born.
What
Go
about
I
the?
ahead,
just got off work. Where you at?
Hold on. Let's let American Born go. Y'all mute up.
Real quick. I'm going to take Giselle's side, and everybody might hate me, but it was her daddy came on every season. She showed his legacy. She honored that man. She was told that her daughters were going to get something in his will. And I'm sorry, but if it was a white woman he remarried to, that's all I need to know, because she cut them out completely. She changed the will, in my opinion, because she was told, Gizelle thought for sure her daughters were going to get something. That's what she was told for years and years and years. It's not right. That's all.
Wait a minute now. Is this inside school?
No, it was on the Bravo show. She told us on the show. I mean, I've watched every episode.
Oh. So you say if it's a white woman, you know she cut them out.
Well, yeah, I'm white. I know she did. Shit. Come
So I
on.
heard about you. I was waiting on you at the door.
God damn.
She sure did.
God.
Giselle was told she was getting money for her daughters. She didn't want it for herself. She wanted it for her girls.
Girl,
That's
you
what her
gotta
daddy
find
told
that
her.
chokehold.
So,
So
who's the beneficiary on your policy? I'm sorry. You know what?
What
Maybe I
about the
shouldn't.
kids, man? What
it,
about
it
the
was
kids?
it was my mother first and then us three, but my daddy cut out his illegitimate child
Oh,
with the right wording.
And you
my
helped
God.
them, didn't you?
No, honey, he did it before we didn't find out he had another child until after he passed.
They be underestimating men. Like men can't think for
Mm.
themselves. Y'all be underestimating these men.
Yeah, my dad said only the children from the union of him and my mother were in the will. We didn't even find out about that girl till after he passed. Had
Damn.
no clue. She come out of the woodwork too, thinking she was going to get something.
Like
Hmm.
Giselle.
Well, no, Giselle was told. Now, come on. She was told for years her daughters were getting. He was going to set up money for those three girls.
He
And
could have left them little girls some zoom zooms and wham whams. He could have left them something.
that white woman cut them all out. I'm telling you right now, she cut them all out.
Child, I want to
Listen,
know who told the
hold on.
people, the daughter, that she wasn't gonna get nothing. Was it you?
Hold on. No, she got the
Yes,
chat
I
and the
did.
chokehold. American born, you got the chat and the chokehold. That's my meeting adjourned.
I did tell her. She called. I told her straight up, you aren't in the will, ma'am. I don't know you.
Jesus.
Damn. And you
Yeah.
knew he removed her.
Yeah, because he said only the children from the union of Bill and Elizabeth. See, that completely cut that girl out.
Mm, mm,
He did it legally, the correct way.
mm, mm, mm.
Smart, very
And
smart.
y'all didn't give her $5?
I
That
didn't
was
give
her
her
dad.
nothing. I
That was
didn't
her
even go
dad
meet her.
too. Lord have mercy.
I ain't got time for it, Trey. I got two other sisters. I ain't got time.
Was she able to come to the funeral?
She didn't show up no funeral. Shoot.
Oh.
She just called after he died thinking she was going to get when she heard that the money came through.
You
Silly
said she
bitch.
died.
But the thing is, his family knew about her all those years. She lived right up there where they all lived.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it was crazy. My mother was madder than fuck, man. She was mad. Oh my God, my mother was mad.
She said a lady called waiting for him to die. Hey, y'all got
Yeah,
that money? Y'all got that money?
she wanted to know how much he left. And I said, what's it to you? You're not in the will, ma'am. I don't see your name nowhere in this will. Thank you very much.
Did you go shopping after that?
No, honey. My mother took the money. I mean, and I took care of my mother the rest of her life. So
There you go. And
yeah,
benefit.
I wasn't interested in. I had a good job. I wasn't interested in no money.
Amen. This is
Long as
good, y'all.
long as old girl that come out of the woodwork didn't get a dime, I was happy.
Now, let me ask you this real quick. In your opinion, you said people in the chat are insinuated that he was married to a white woman and you're a white woman. And I
Yes,
appreciate y'all. This is what we do on this channel.
that's right.
Could it be possible that he updated his own damn will and he was in and out of
No,
consciousness and he was like, yeah.
no, absolutely not.
Mm.
Absolutely. Giselle was 1,000% certain her daughters were getting money. I'm telling you, that white woman cut them all out.
Damn. And now
I
she's
was,
a civil rights owner.
yeah.
Hold on. Wait. Well, you heard it here first. Damn. No justice, no peace.
Ooh, a
All
child
right.
of nobody. That's
Hey,
what
I'm
I
finna
happened.
just had
tell
to take up for Giselle. I had to take up for Giselle. I feel sorry for her and her girls.
Oh my God, y'all. Lord have mercy. I think this is good. Should we go ahead and end it? Y'all got me in stitches over here. They say go to bed. Because I said go
Baby,
to
the
bed.
way you worked the set today, honey.
Huh?
Mm-mm.
I said the way you worked this set today, honey. This gave me everything I needed.
Wasn't it good? This was a good ass conversation.
It was good.
Hmm.
For
Thank you
And
for
real.
listen, we got a live review of a white woman calling in and said that white woman took all that money. I'm a white
So
woman.
did.
My daddy had a child, and I made sure she didn't get nothing.
And he said between Bill and Karen's natural children. So
Go ahead.
so listen. She said it was very smart. Oh, this is hilarious. Val, Miss Carter said, oh my God, no, that is cold hearted. Look, the white lady said, I'm telling y'all what happened. I'm telling you how the play was run. The white woman came in there and wrote all of them. She owns the civil rights now. Damn.
Miss Thing said it was the wording, honey, that got old girl up out of that situation.
where
Hmm.
is Dr. Umar when you need him? Nobody's on attack.
Okay, they saying that the new wife is being alleged. Does anybody have the court documents? I'll come back and do a second conversation. Or were the court documents sealed?
I'm not sure, but I do know that Kay is based out of Atlanta. So when it's based out of Atlanta, I do know that favor goes into the wife. I mean,
Okay.
but she was, I mean, but like I said, when you get married, it's not mama and daddy, it's not children, this, that, and the third. Y'all didn't came as one. Y'all are one.
McLivin, thank you for the 10 piece. The 10 piece and a pepper. You are dying laughing, girl. We are too. We need to get our hands on those court documents so we can come
Right.
back here. If we get it, we'll come back next week or even Thursday night and read what's going on and how much we're talking about. And because y'all are saying it was 2 days after his brain surgery that
Now that's foul.
the will was changed.
Now if that's
Okay.
true, that's foul. That's straight up foul. I don't. I ain't. That's not right.
Listen here, I would have did it maybe 24 hours before, honey, messing with me, honey. I would have got to thinking about, oh, I've been cleaning, I've been lifting, and ain't nobody called, ain't nobody came by, ain't nobody sent a plate, ain't nobody said, hey, do you need a moment? Oh, girl, no, ma'am. Next.
Godiva said this conversation triggered everyone, spouses, lovers, children. Everyone woke up. You need to, you better. And I gave y'all some games. So rewind the tape. I'm old school. Rewind the video. I'm talking about the tape. And listen to what I'm talking about. Because if you really see, but everybody be worried, oh, I need my $60. I need my $100 a month. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'd rather pay for it on the front end and do away with $100 a month, 150, and then not have to worry about anything with my parents and make sure they have a great home going. I'm not arguing with no siblings. I'm
Right.
not arguing with no stepmamas, no stepdaddies. As for me and mine, because it's not just your parents' job to take care of you. Hell, it's your job to take care of them too. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Absolutely. And when you said for us to get policies on our parents, I think that that was very important. And for all of us, so we don't be a Giselle or anyone else that's battling or fighting, go ahead, sit down with your parents and say, hey, we need to get a life insurance policy. I want to make sure you have a nice home going. I want to make sure that your grandchildren are taken care of. So sometimes you have to, these are uncomfortable conversations. However, thank you for Queen Sheba for always bringing topics like this to the community because she definitely hones in on the Black experience. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Brandon, thank you for the 5 piece and a pepper. Brandon says just a little love for Queen in the Palace. We appreciate you, Brandon. I'm going to go back to one of your comments. Or did I answer it? I'm going to go back because I saw something you wrote. But thank you, Brandon. And then to Latrice said he had surgery July 10th,
Mm.
2023. He passed away July 26th, 2024.
Mm.
Y'all, it was a year before his passing that they updated the will. I ain't gonna say remove because I hate to use negativity like that. They updated the will. Has your opinion changed? Yes or no?
Oh, that man wasn't thinking right. She probably wasn't even thinking. She changed that up in the midst of. Uh. Something ain't right about it. It's something ain't right.
And what
Mm.
I'm a rebuttal to that is if Giselle was present, if Giselle was hands on, if Giselle has stepped away from the cameras and said, you know, I have real life issues going on and I'm going to put my dad first, I feel like things would have been different. Her paperwork should have been in order as much as times as she's been in court with a divorce and things like that with lawyers. So you have lawyers on standby, but they didn't say, hey, let's go ahead and get you set up and straight over here, like, make it make sense. No, her nose was in everybody's business and
Mm.
stirring up things on the housewives. And girl, she brought her daddy up in it. He wasn't feeling it because this wasn't the daughter that he raised.
Okay, well, maybe
Clock
he
Well,
that
did.
T.
whether or not she was there, the
Go
thing
ahead.
is, the white woman was, or whoever, his wife was his wife, so she still would have had some type of power to make the changes, whether or not Giselle wanted her to make those changes or knew about them or not. And is that wrong? Or I mean, if she would automatically be his power of attorney,
But let me
correct?
ask you this. My actions and what I do out here, that ain't got nothing to do with my daddy, my mama, when I have a husband. And when she was married to that man, that daddy saw something in that man that said, no, this dude is gonna steer my daughter off. And Lord and behold, they got a divorce. They're not together today. And now he's prancing his wife around in a flesh tone dress. Girl, go ahead.
Okay,
Miss Queen.
watch this. I think the daddy updated the will. I don't care what y'all say. I just thought about something. I'm listening to everybody. To Latrice said, let me go find the comment. I hope I started. Dang, did I start? You said, let me read her comment. Here we go. Oh, he passed July 23rd, 26.
16 days
Hold
after.
on. So was that earlier? Was that a after surgery? So the other one was a mistake? Your other comment was a mistake? Hold on. Listen, watch this. Maybe the man, okay, hold on. Let me find it. Let me find the comment. I see you, Uniboo. Give me 1 second. He had surgery July 10th. He passed July 26th, 16 days later. Listen, watch this. Listen to me very closely, everybody. His last appearance on the Real Housewives of Potomac prior to his death, when was his last appearance? I thought I had it.
That was when they had took that trip to New Orleans, right?
No, yeah, she was sitting in a restaurant with him. He got upset. Y'all don't remember?
Yeah, I remember. I think they were in, weren't they in? They were in New Orleans. It was her, one of those trips that she planned, I believe.
Okay. Okay. I'm wrong. Let me look for what I'm trying to look for. Welcome, Uniboo. What are your thoughts?
Hey everybody. Um, and it's a cold day in hell if I'm actually here trying to defend Gizzernet because yeah, I don't really like her or care for her for the show. But if that white woman go and update the will and kick the daughter out, like that is some nasty work. Cause she will have to see me outside. Cause you married to this guy, I'm his daughter,
Mhm.
blood and everything, and you gonna cut me out this will. But that sucked though, because it's like legacy is a big thing. Generation, generational health is like wealth is a big thing. It's like even if you cut the daughter out, but at least the grandkids, like have some compassion for the grandkids. That is messed up. Like I'm like, I kind of feel for her because it's like, that's my dad. But me knowing about, my if my dad have that kind of legacy, if I was close to my father, like you best believe I'm not getting no other women coming in the family trying to, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna put my foot on her neck and make sure that will include me and my grandkids. To me, you're a stranger. That's how I feel. That got me defending the Giselle on these streets. That's crazy.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick before I go to the next caller, Sanaya. She'll come back. But listen, let me ask you this real quick. What if he was a white man and his wife was a black woman that had been taking care of him? And the black woman say, hold up, we need to update this will. Would your thoughts be the same?
It's the same. That's my father.
Okay.
It don't matter. That's my daddy. I'm gonna get a piece of, what my father left. Because at this point, you're just married. You just came. I was here. I'm his blood. So I don't care. That's my daddy. I'm getting a piece of that will. You gonna have to
Y'all,
see outside.
I'ma say this. She said he wasn't. Listen, I don't want to get too far into it because this is somebody's father. This question prompted this response. Sanaya, you up next. Give me 1 second. Lachey said she can't change it without his permission, right? Correct. Well, hold on. Let me say this. It depends on okay, if it's his will. See, when Gizelle says will, that's why I need the court documents. Is she talking about a hefty life insurance? Because a will could be inclusive of several different components of legacy. It could be multi-million dollars of life insurance premiums. It could be whole life policy, stocks, investments, land. So if we're talking about a will, what aspect of the will? If there's a life insurance policy, no, she can't change it without his permission if she's not the policy holder. You would have to be the policy holder to not need his permission, right? But if she was the policy holder, Gizelle would have never been a beneficiary anyway. So I'm going to say she cannot change it without his permission. And if it were changed, these corporations are not dumb. Obviously, his signatures matched, you all. Does that make sense? I
It
know you
makes
don't
sense,
want to
but
hear it.
but once again, the wife, although she more than likely deserves what she got as far as what he chose to give her, it's weird that there were changes made in the midst of him getting a brain surgery.
Can y'all hear me?
I get
Yes,
it.
we can hear you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, I
this is
get you.
Sean.
I get you. Let me go to
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, we
Okay.
got attorney. Hold on. Go ahead, Shawnee.
Okay. I have experience in this. Okay. So how will the testaments work is like this. My partner actually just did his with his parents. So when we lived in Atlanta originally, but we moved to Michigan. When we lived in Atlanta, he wasn't on his parents. He was on their will, but he wasn't like their estate holder because we didn't live here in Michigan. And his parents are wealthy. They have a decent amount of money. So I think what happened with Giselle was I agree. Giselle should have been more intuitive with her father's finances and what was going on. And she wasn't, clearly. Because there's no way that she would have not known that that woman had allowed that to happen with him while he was in the hospital. And most hospitals don't allow that to happen. So what happened was, I do believe he was not in his right mind when he signed it. However, Giselle had due diligence to make sure that she was there with him at every moment he was sick with a brain tumor. So she lost that lawsuit because she
Mm,
wasn't there.
mm.
That's why she lost the lawsuit. She wasn't there. So who is she to say that this happened illegally or there was something, that the woman did? She can't say it because she wasn't there.
Oh, keep
So
going. That's a good point.
it's all
That's a
her
good.
fault. It's all her fault. So when he remarried, he remarried. He had a wife. Point blank. Period. When you get married, you have a wife. Guess who? Guess what happens? That wife becomes the pinpoint.
Okay, that's
She,
good. Hold on. I like what. So now we're getting to the probate part, and we got an
yes.
attorney up here. We're gonna go to the attorney. Everybody,
She's
wait.
the wife. So when it comes to hospital, she can sign on paper and say, "I don't want nobody up here in this hospital. I can do what I want to do." She's the wife.
Okay, that's good stuff. Hey,
And
everybody,
mind you,
hold
and
on.
remember Giselle. I don't think Giselle's the only child either.
Oh,
I don't think she's
okay.
the only child. I think she has siblings. And then mind you, Giselle said even in the episode, she's not close to her own mother. And she had to go to her mother and ask her mother about where on this season of Potomac. She just said she's not close to her mom. Her doors are closer to her mother than she is. So she had to ask her mother, like, where mind you, My man has all his parents' stuff. I have a key in my bedroom drawer for his parents' house. That's how
Oh,
close you have to be with your parents. You should be going to doctor's appointments. For it would be a shock for her to know that her father had a brain tumor. That says something to me. That was a shock for her to know her father had a brain tumor.
all right. Hold that
She
thought. Let me hold on, Shawnee. Stay right there. Let me go to everybody mute up because I want to come back because I like how you've now introduced the legal side of this argument. You can't just run to the court emotional and say, that's my daddy. He loved me. She did something. And the judge is asking, were you there? No. Then, ma'am, hold that thought. Let me go to B&G Conversations and then DG, you're up next. B&G, what you got?
Hi, Queen, it's Sharon. To answer the question about lawsuits and everything, every state have a clause that you must do in case someone pass away. The southern states the first wife, state the wife. It doesn't matter if the first wife, second wife, third wife, fourth wife. If you get married with a prenup, it happened to Johnny Cash. He had a prenup. His kids would get everything. His wife, he died. He passed away. His new wife, she went to her attorney, and her attorney able to reverse that will because she was the wife in the state where they live in, and so his kids didn't get nothing. So you'll read the fine print. Say New Jersey, it says in say New Jersey, you must leave at least 10% of your estate to your spouse that you're currently married to.
Okay.
So that's what probably what happened. Yeah, you get married. It's something you do a will. That's
Mhm.
easy, but you read your state laws that they already put in place for case that person pass, that spouse is automatically get a percentage, or that spouse,
Okay.
husband or wife, they are the main person on that will, and they
Okay.
can flip it.
Okay. Sharon, mute up. Let me go to DG. DG, what are your thoughts?
Hey, good evening, everybody. A couple of thoughts. Money that passes through an insurance policy is by contract. It doesn't have to go through a probate process like a will does. The will is the testator's desire of how he wants his or her property split upon his death. And in most states, there are testamentary requirements, like, for instance, how many people have to witness it, what your mental capacity has to be when you make those declarations, how often, what the requirements are if you make any amendments. And at least from my perspective, if Gizelle is claiming that the document was amended while he was either mentally incapable of making that type of declaration or that he was under duress to do it, then she has an absolute right to challenge it. The problem will be that if the will is thrown out completely, then the intestate laws for that state come into play. And in most states, a spouse will get a percentage and their children get a percentage. In South Carolina, the spouse would be entitled to half, and the living children would split proportional, a half of whatever they would split equally the other half of the money. If there's a deceased child, that child's children or survivors would take their share. So there's a lot of questions. The second part, and that I would be curious about, is when the will was last modified prior
Mhm.
to the last change, and when it was when that modification occurred. Because if the will was never changed while he was married to the second wife, and then it was changed right before his death, she still, even if the will is thrown out, can take an omitted spouse's share under most states. So even if the will is thrown out or the amendment is thrown out, the wife still has a right to inherit based on the laws of
Ooh.
that particular state, regardless of what the will is. So there's a lot of legal questions that are left open because we don't have enough details to fill in the blanks.
Well, Giselle lost the case. Did y'all know that?
Okay, what I saw online, it doesn't say that she lost the case. It says
Well,
that
it said
there's
it on Bravo. That was her update on her season finale.
Oh, really?
that she shared with Bravo. That was her. They did the season finale, and
Okay.
she didn't win her case contesting the will.
Okay, then that means that the judge didn't find enough evidence to make any amendments based on what she provided, which is hard to prove because she would have to establish that that he was not in a capacity, and if it was witnessed by others who can attest that he was legally in his right mind, or in their opinion in his right mind when those changes were made, then that the document stands. So it
Or
sounds
how
like
about he had a power of attorney? Then that changes the game really, really tough.
a
If she
power of
was his
attorney.
power of attorney, she could make any decisions because she's power of attorney. If he was ever to
But a
get ill,
power,
if he was ever not to be able to make a decision, she would be in front of that. Go ahead.
but the power of attorney can't amend a will in any state. The power of attorney still is limited in what the power has the ability to do. They
And
stand in place of
hold on,
that.
DG is an attorney, y'all. But go ahead.
So if that person, like for instance, we're going through this with my great uncle. He's about to be 81 years old. He's not married. He's never had any children. He's the sole survivor of he's my grandmother's youngest brother and the sole survivor of his sibling group. So the nieces, and I'm a great niece, we're trying to put affairs in order for him because he has onset dementia. So we know that he has a will. We know that, I know that at least within the past 15 years it's been modified because he's lost some people that he intended to leave money
Ah.
to.
Well, let
So
me ask you this real quick before I go to. Okay. So Gizelle did not win her case, y'all. She has to move.
okay.
The wife gets everything, the legacy, civil rights, all of that. No justice, no peace. Okay, and everybody up for me if you're not talking real quick, because we got a little bit of an echo. I'm gonna mute everybody up. Does they go back to Shawnee's point that, in order to prove that and validate that, you would have to have needed to at least be there. And the fact that you were not there during the course of the time that you are alleging fraudulent behavior, could that be possible? That the judge is like, you're not here. What can you give me that's substantial?
Oh, I think so, because she would have the burden of proof as the person who's contesting the will. So if the wife
Oh,
presents what is a valid will or appeals on its face to be valid, then Giselle has the burden of proof that the will is not valid, and she has to do that through competent evidence. So part of that would be if she was there when it was executed, if she knows for a fact that he was under the influence of heavy medication or sedation when it was done. If she knows that there was some arm twisting, so to speak, going on, she has to present evidence to convince the judge that that happened in order for them to say that that was not his will and throw it out.
okay.
So
Final
she would
question.
have won burden of proof. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Final question, and I got to go to the next person. Final question. If the will was updated, wouldn't that have to have meant that the signatures match?
I mean, you kind of need a handwriting expert on signatures, but if it appeared to be his signature, and there's no reason to doubt that it wasn't his signature, then I think that's one of the pieces of evidence that maybe she could challenge. But most people's signature do change over time, and especially if they as they age. So I wouldn't rely necessarily on the signature.
Okay, let me ask this a different way, and I need a yes or no.
Okay.
Could the judge have compared the two documents and determined that it was his signature?
Yes and no. And I say yes because he can do that, but my legal answer would be no, because unless you contest that the signatures are different, that's not something the judge is going to consider. The
Okay.
judge is not going to listen to the evidence that the person who's challenging the will presents. So she would have to say that the signatures varied in some way in order for the judge to rule on
Right.
that issue.
But what I'm
Otherwise, he would
saying is
accept
we
it.
don't have access to the documents. I would probably,
Right.
if she's saying, hey, you changed the will, he couldn't hold a pen, I would assume that would be one of her primary arguments. Look at the signature. We can start with
Can I
that.
can I can I chime in there? Also, too,
Yeah,
that
and
would
then
be up.
Dawn, you're
That would be
next
up
after
to.
Shawnee. Go ahead,
But
Dawn.
that would be up to the attorneys to have a authenticator to come to court to do that. It's not the judge who looks at the signatures. It's they would have to they would have to someone have someone come in and authenticate the signatures. So the judge is not going to just look at the signatures. They have to have a actual. They have to put somebody on the stand and have them testify to the signatures. Like it's a give and take. You can't. The judge is not going to sit there and look at the document and say, "Well, these don't match." The attorneys would be the ones to bring somebody in to do that.
Okay. Okay, that's a good point. Real quick, DG, they're saying, do they have to have witnesses or a notary? DG.
That varies by state. So in South Carolina, you have to have so many witnesses, and the document has to be sealed and signed by an attorney. In some states, like Louisiana, you can do a will by a notary. That's not something I'm familiar with in our state because our requirements are different. So each state has their own requirements as to what makes a document testamentary. If you think about Aretha Franklin, she didn't have a formal will, but she had several writings where she indicated how she wanted her money and her estate to be handled, and the court ultimately decided which papers that they relied on to say that this was what her intent was. But if it's not written, or even if it is written, it still can be challenged, because that's, if you don't meet that state's requirement, then that leaves the door open for someone to say that's not really what his intent was, and they can introduce evidence to support that theory.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, DG. Everybody mute up for me. Dawn, we were waiting for Dawn. Dawn waited so patiently. Dawn, come back up. We're gonna wait on you and let you finish, get a chance to share your thoughts. So we're gonna wait on Dawn. Dawn waited so patiently for a long time. So I want to give Dawn the opportunity to speak. And I know you dropped down, but we get pretty personable over here. If I can remember, I'll call you back up. So let's give Dawn an opportunity. Y'all, let me ask the chat real quick. Are you enjoying the conversation, chat? Do you feel like this is helpful? Even though we're talking about reality television, were we able to take it to a level that you're like, damn, I didn't know that? And as you type that in the chat, welcome, Dawn. What are your thoughts?
I just had a question for the attorneys. They often say that when you are putting together your will, and particularly when you have issues like this, there might be squabbles with siblings, etc., or maybe your kids did something that you didn't like, that you put in the will maybe a small sum for whomever that is, so that the judge knows that you were in your right mind when this will was constructed. So I was wondering, like, why, so the judge wouldn't have any, way to, there wouldn't be any way that one could contest it. They could just say, listen, they left you $20,000 and some jewelry, and that's what they wanted you to have. That's it. So I don't know. I would like to ask that. And then the second question is, sometimes they'll say, I don't know if it's called a poison pill or something, where if anyone contests the will, then they're automatically out of the will if they go against what is in the will. Is that so? And I just would like to know, in this case, could that have prevented all of this?
I'll take a stab at that question.
No,
I
it
think.
was directed to you. It's directed
Okay.
to you.
I it When you say will, it's that person who is making the will, their intent. Your intent can change over time. And so if he intended to leave Giselle something, he has the authority and the ability to say, I want to leave Giselle X, Y, and Z. If he omitted that, then there was an intent not to give her something. We can debate whether that was his intent or somebody overbore his will, which is why she contested it. But we have to go by the four corners of the document. And so that's why Giselle had the burden of proving that the document as written was defective, and has to prove how it was defective and show why it should have been thrown out. And apparently she didn't meet whatever the standard was for the probate court to throw it out. But yeah, some states allow poison pills. Most states have what we call catch-all provisions where, for instance, if her father's will was written before the second marriage and it was never amended, then that wife still could take on their omitted spouse's share because he never updated the will to include her. And the courts or the law determines that he would not purposely leave out the wife. Now, you can get around that by specifically putting in there, it is my intent not to include the wife. And you can explain your reasons why, and you don't have to give a reason at all. But the purpose of the will is that you write your intent, and everything that you can contemplate should be in the document, because when it's not in the document, it leads to this type of litigation.
Wow. Thank you very much. This is an amazing show. My only comment, Queen, is that with reference to the father, that's like Warren Buffett and all these other rich, very rich men, they believe that there's no divine right of the womb, meaning you have no right to tell, your dad or mom who any of their things should go to. I mean, I don't happen to necessarily believe that, but I believe that, when people get married, second and tertiary marriages, they should look out for their kids. Of course, maybe kids do something, their children does something that maybe will allow them, that will turn them off and they're like out of the will. But I do believe that you should provide something, So,
Okay.
so thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay real quick. I like that you brought up that fact about like people like Warren Buffett and they feel like you do not have a divine right to the womb. I'ma say I tend to err on that side of belief because I believe in, if you I'm agree with them because I've seen too many kids grow up and dog out their parents. I live in neighborhoods where I live around, like I'm blessed to live where I live, and I live in a neighborhood where so first of all, well, I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Where these people downsize but still live in beautiful homes, and we were one of the youngest couples, and my neighbor died in his house alone and was dead for a couple of days, and nobody knew it because his kids did not check on him. And he left his penthouse in Boston to his daughter, but he had a property in Italy that he left to his cousin. But at the same time, it's like all these years that he would come to my back gate and hold me hostage, and I would talk to him and go over there and talk. Where were the kids? We would have dinner with him. So I have seen situations directly or indirectly where these kids drop these parents off who are wealthy and have money and literally wait for them to die and come collect. My neighbor across the street died. Never even knew she had a son until she died. He slapped up a for sale sign, didn't even vet the people that bought our house. That lady's yard was so beautiful. The person that bought it don't even keep up the yard. So I'm going to have to roll with Warren Buffett on that one, based on how I know kids can be finicky. Kids disappoint parents every day and wait. I'm not saying that I think it would be nice, but I think you get what you deserve when it comes to your parents. I don't think they owe you anything after you decide to grow up and go off and get married and have your own kids. I think even in Animal Kingdom, they kick the young out and wean them off the nipple and let you go hunt and feed for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. This is a troubling situation. I think she's going to have to find her way, because it's over. That lady has all of his things. Like I'm just wondering about heirlooms and wonderful things like that, pictures, and people don't think about the tertiary things that lay around that remind you of your parents. So those are the things that maybe it might not be money. In her case, it is. I just would be heartbroken if someone said you can't have anything. Everything is this person who married. She was the wife. I mean, I don't know. It's just,
I mean,
it's a
it
difficult
I don't
happens
think
situation.
though.
I don't think
And
it's about
listen,
money with her.
go ahead.
I don't think it was about money with her. I think about what she said. I truly believe it was generational wealth. I think she think about her
That's what she
daughters.
said.
I don't think it is about money for her. I don't think she needs the money. I
Well,
think
I
for
don't
her
mean money. I
is
mean money that can grow over time. Like
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
his
Yes.
I get. Okay, I get
investments,
that.
maybe his
Yes,
land.
yes. But I
Yes.
do believe
That's
it's a soft work for someone to come in and being that's a child. Or I'm trying to think that she had. I believe she has siblings, but it's just
They do.
my mind can't get all the fact that she said she doesn't talk to her mother. And being somebody that man like me, I lost my mother like at 7 years old. So when it comes to parents, it's like I would think if my parents were alive, they would left me something, or left my if I decide to have children, which I don't. But I don't believe that man would have just left his grandchildren out of anything. Because there are people
Okay,
do when
let's
they do wills, they do counterparts to their wills. They have other like I say with people like
But you know what?
I don't get that.
I wanted to add this. Like they said that Billie Holiday, she had a tragic
Mm,
life, etc. And she married this man who was beating her.
you're
And
right.
then, of course, she had the drug overdose. And all of her rights to all of her music, everything, her likeness, because he remarried, is now with, like someone that she
Yeah.
didn't have any children, but, it's with like a stranger.
But like
it's,
I said,
I mean,
once you get married, the wife honestly
no,
becomes
I got that.
it.
I'm just torn
So she does
between
have a
that. Do you
brother. His
understand?
name is Christopher,
Oh, no,
y'all.
no, no. Tulsa,
Yeah.
don't read it yet. I'm coming.
Uh,
Okay,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry,
Let me
boo.
finish. Go ahead. That's all right.
That was it.
but
All
that's
right.
tricking about
Okay.
marriage.
And
All
can I
right.
say,
Here we go. Here we go, y'all. Tulsa sent me this video. First of all, let's stop acting like this was a feeble man, very strong. In order for this man to do what he's done over the course of his life, he had to been a very strong, strong man. So the last time we saw him featured on the Real Housewives of Potomac, here was his conversation. Oh, they said, okay, hold on. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can
yes.
hear you.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay, here was his conversation with Gizelle. We're going to play a snippet of that, and then we're going to read the obituary. Got it?
Hmm.
And then once I give y'all that, y'all can come in one by one and give your feedback based on the obituary and or the last conversation between him and Giselle that we saw. We were privy to. All right, here we go. Everybody mute up for me, please. And then I'll call on you one by one. Give me 1 second. And this is courtesy of Being Beautifully Honest. You can go check out the content here and listen to the entire video. I am just going to play a snippet. I'm going to stop just to give you a feel for the strength and the tone of the man.
Okay, Queen, if it's going, we don't hear any audio.
Oh, y'all can't hear it?
No, we can hear it. I can
Oh,
see
crap.
No,
No.
no.
closed
Oh, my
caption, but I
God.
can't hear
Okay,
it.
let's start all over. All right. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's do it again. Give me 1 second. Here we go. One more time. This is a conversation between Giselle Jamal Bryant and her father is at dinner. Listen very carefully.
I talked to my dad yesterday. He said he wants us to be happy.
Thank you, Mr. Graves. It means a lot.
I want you to be happy. Bottom line.
This is great.
All right, let me sneak out and go to the bathroom.
Okay. I thought you were going to ask my dad my hand in marriage.
No, I think we've got some rivers to cross.
I think he's gonna take the mic off from me. I think I'm done. This is not a good move for her. You know, this guy's got 6, 7 baby mamas, you know. Do you want to deal with that again? No. As a father, you think twice about that kind of stuff. I'm done.
You heard it. You heard it. She plops him in front of Jamal Bryant. He's very politically correct. He says, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom, goes up to the producers and say, take this mic off of me. I'm not doing this. This guy has 6, 7, 8 baby mamas. And you mean to tell me she wants to go through this again? Gizelle, that will prompt Listen, that could prompt a change of the will. Now let's look at, I just wanted to give y'all that. I didn't want to play it all because I didn't want to, you can go and look at the content creators page, being beautifully honest, and check it out yourself. But we're going to stop it there. That was a man who wasn't happy with his daughter's decision. I don't give a damn if she was daddy's girl. Do you understand, panel?
Yeah, and that's why I
Yes.
pointed that out, that he saw something in that man that he didn't want his daughter to be with. Like, this guy has so many baby moms. This is my legacy. If you continue on with him, then this dude is gonna tarnish it. This dude is very careless. I stand on business. I'm a real man. I ain't been out here messing from woman to woman. That's not my reputation. And I refuse for my legacy to go down in history like this. So go ahead, unmic me, and go ahead and go on about your business.
Mm-hmm. And I could see if he said that I'll only do my grandkids, and that's it. The 4 girls, right? The 4? 3 or 4
But
girls
then
he
who's
had.
gonna benefit? That pimp gonna get in there and he's gonna manipulate, and he's gonna find some way to get
Yes.
some money about them girls, because those are his daughters. Those girls don't know what we know. Those girls ain't live life. That man said, you know what? This is the responsible thing. I got a wife that's gonna be responsible. And hell, if you wanna give him some, you give him some, but I ain't doing it. Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, but I do have to question, wasn't this filmed in 2020?
2023. No, I'm take that back. Hold on. I'm looking it up right now. That's what I'm doing. That's why I put the overlay. 5 years ago, 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was still time after that, because she wasn't dating, or she didn't go back with him.
No, she was dating him,
That
and
was
he
some
came
stuff
up.
for the show, though.
It
If,
was a
No,
if
it
show.
we're being
wasn't.
honest, they were broken up by the time her father was in the hospital.
Yes, but
It
Gizelle
had at
hung in
least
there.
been it had at least been a year or two before he made it to the hospital with brain cancer, or what have you, before all of this. As far as like this, where I'm getting at is, I understand he was mad at that particular time, but that doesn't say to me I'm going to snatch my grandchildren out of or update my will to dismiss my grandchildren.
But this
I
is a
understand that
civil.
he's mad and it was a
Mhm,
show, but
mhm.
at the same time, I still question what the wife was doing,
Okay,
for the grandchildren. I can understand him saying, okay, well, I'm mad at my daughter and this, that, and the third, but for him to remove his grandchildren, and who's to say, do the siblings have grandchildren that he just
but
omitted
here's the
from it
thing:
as
we
well?
don't know
It's
that,
weird.
y'all. So you can't just completely 1,000. We only know one side of the story, which is Giselle's. We don't have anything to compare against what she's saying, which is why the court ruled not in her favor.
And can I
But
say something?
listen, if we think about it, Bravo. Listen here, Todd is subpoenaing things from Bravo. So we don't know what was subpoenaed. We don't know what was going through. What we do know is that was that man's raw reaction. That was a
Yeah.
real man speaking up for his daughter, because he is a councilman, was the first African American. He has a whole legacy that he has to pass on when he goes to glory. And he don't want it with no foolish individual that's ain't about it. You got 8 different children out here. You ain't settled down with none one of them, and you think that you coming up in here to talk to
Yeah.
me and it's a good game, nigga. I've been out in the streets.
So you're
Like I
telling me
said,
that
But
a
I think
man that is so put up in the Black history world. Oh, he's this, he's that, and this, that, and the third, and he believes in legacy, would consciously dismiss his grandchildren to
Yeah.
continue his legacy.
Hold on. Let me get in
Make
here.
that make
Can I say
sense.
something?
No, no, no. Let me get in here. Y'all keep comparing this man to 2026 nigga. This is a civil rights activist where I get the big piece of chicken. I'm gonna leave that there.
I think he was disappointed with her choices, period. And the fact that she would even contemplate to get back with this loser while she was a first lady, had a baby with a parishioner in the very church that she was the first lady. So he had embarrassed her to no end. So this man is an upstanding man. He has he's well known. And so to have this all play out in the news and she's on this show, I'm sure it was slightly embarrassing for him because, they're well known in those circles. So I just think that maybe, this was if this was one decision, she probably had many others that was maybe even worse. And she knew that he knew maybe that if she had inherited anything substantial, maybe, that the girls would inherit. Perhaps
Can
maybe
I
she
jump
would
in
have
there?
control over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
please
let
do,
me tell
because
you
And
this. And
No,
I've
hold
embarrassing
met
on,
her.
hold on.
Reverend
Wait, wait,
Jesse
wait, wait, wait,
Jackson.
wait. Pause. Y'all quit cutting
Okay.
each other off. That was kind of rude now. Let her
Oh,
finish
I'm
her thought.
sorry.
Okay,
No,
be
that
nice.
that that was it. I mean, but we're not talking about the other. I mean, this man could also have those affairs, but we're just talking about this isolated incident where everything is unfolding in real time in live television even and in the press. I mean, this man was married to her all that time and he did all of these things. So maybe he's like, listen, I have something substantial that I want to protect. And I don't want anyone that is thinking in this way or many other decisions. And she just, she wouldn't cut it or wouldn't do the things that he expects or upholds for whatever his legacy is.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Tulsa.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of context. My stepfather, he was born in 1936, so I was raised. He was. It was just so much, and I just want to say this: I've met Jesse Jackson, I've met Santita Jackson. Santita would never. Santita Jackson would never, that's Reverend Jesse Jackson's daughter. She would never come out here and be doing all this. And when you talk about legacy and you talk about civil rights, that is something that's just precious. And I think that we need to look beyond the scope, like we were talking about in 2026. Okay, we can't even get people to boycott damn Target. They keep running up in there. And so when you talk about legacy and this man has fought and he has stood on business, we don't need the legacy to be tainted. And as we can see, they are not together. And what I want to say is Giselle does not have good judgment. That's it. That's all.
Okay, real quick. I'm gonna hold on, y'all. Y'all gotta keep Trey. Love you, good points. But this a different kind of man. They don't build them like this no more. They don't operate by feeling and emotion. Oh, my grandkids. These are the Malcolm X Farrakhan kind. If you gonna marry, these are the kind. If you gonna marry a sorry Negro, then you not gonna get nothing. Kind. He was born in 1938. Malcolm X was born in 1925. These are the kind of men that are like, once their mind is made up, is made up. Period.
Okay,
That's
I
all.
have a father, I have a
Well,
grandfather, and they both were civil rights leaders in Memphis, Tennessee. So you're not saying anything that I don't know.
Okay.
And
what
what I
was
do know is when my grandfather passed, he left something for all five of his kids and their grandchildren.
But that's not
So
the
it's not
case
a, it's, that
in
that
this
is the case.
situation.
The case is that who cares about what he left for Giselle? What I'm talking about is for y'all to be sitting up here talking about legacy this, legacy that, and for him to not leave anything, land, anything in this will that we're talking about for his grandchildren.
How we know
It
he
speaks
did?
volume.
He
But
hold
that's
on,
what y'all
let
are
me read the
saying.
obituary. Hold on. Because Giselle's not the only one with kids. That's why I say, wait a minute. Because we're basing this on he got other kids, y'all, other grandkids.
Exactly.
She's the only one complaining. She may have
Because
her and hers may not have hold on. Let me read the obituary. Maybe it was just her and hers that didn't get anything. That's all I'm saying. Hold on. Let me show y'all the obituary. Now, Trey, you could be right, but the point is, let's just say he did. That was his choice.
It is. I'm just saying I feel like y'all are putting a lot
on this Jamal Bryant thing. Like it's a lot y'all are putting on that. Okay, he didn't like her choice in men or what have you, but I still don't feel like that would take him away from leaving something for his grandchildren.
I do.
I do too.
Well, some rich people, they don't give their leave money with their regular kids. They have skipped and gave the grandkids money for education. Then they have another one for 25 and 30 years old. So that's what most some rich people and some parents did, leave the money to the grandchildren, next generation. So
But
that
we gotta think. Oh, I'm sorry.
but then that's why I think that happened. But that's probably what he told her, that that her daughters would get something, not her, but the daughters, and that's what.
Okay.
Like,
Right,
I
he
don't
said that on
believe.
the show, I believe.
I don't. I don't believe
I'm
that. I
sorry.
don't believe that she want the money herself. I think just her daughter gets something. And that's it.
Oh, she wanted it. That's why she's asking for it. I don't care how you prop it up and say, well, for my daughters, it still comes to you. Okay. Now if we're gonna talk, we gotta be. Yeah, of course she wanted it. She said, I thought that I would be able to establish. She said, my father wanted to establish generational wealth for me and his grandkids.
Queen, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Go ahead.
100%. I agree with you 100%. Thinking about it, I do agree with you. I think that when it comes to Gizelle is a person who, first, she does deal with pretty privilege, and a lot of her looks comes from her father. Because most girls get their looks from their dads, and she became her dad's pet. And I think that she has a brother, so she's a daddy's girl. So, and I say this much, like I come from family. Also, my aunt's pretty privileged. I have a lot of aunts who are pretty girls, and they married men. Well, one did marry a man, and then once they got divorced, it became crazy. But she's a woman who relied on her prettiness. But then her father now gets sick, and again, like I said earlier, she wasn't there. I mean, she went to Louisiana on the show. She propped her father up on the show. On the show, she propped her father up. But her father, like someone else said, didn't like her husband, her ex-husband, which could have had a big difference in his reasonings. But I still don't believe that he would have written out his granddaughters out as well. But I think Gizelle just truly took a step back when it came to her father in his later years. I think there's no way that you not know your father had a brain tumor for
Okay.
that
I
many
have to push
years.
back on that honestly because my grandmother had lung cancer and she didn't tell anybody.
Mhm.
We didn't know until she was in the hospital. Some people are just very, very silent and very secretive about what they do when they go to the hospital.
Mhm.
In
That's
that
true.
generation, in that
Hold
generation,
on, one
that's
at a
very
time,
true.
Sharon. Let them finish. Let them
Oh,
finish,
sorry,
Sharon.
sorry.
No, she can go ahead. I just want to push back on that part. Some people are very, very secretive about when it comes to their health, and
I
and,
agree with you,
and
but
if and when they go to the hospital or the
that's very
doctor's
true.
office.
But what I'm trying to say though is when he was in a hospital, think about it like this. I get that, and I understand that because I've dealt film wise, I've dealt with people with health issues. But I'm trying to say is though, when it comes to your father, there's things that we only saw. Her father was filming, but at the same time, he remarried, and there's a reason why he remarried. I mean, again, and mind you, we don't know how long he remarried for.
They say 20 years.
20 years. That's a 20 years is a long time.
And
And
y'all,
and it
Giselle did not have a relationship with that woman and
with
neither
the
did
one
her children
exactly.
for
There's
And
no
she
20
probably didn't
years.
conversation.
come to visit
I agree.
in the
There's no
hospital.
conversation. There's nothing. And then for you to say no again, like Queen Sheba, like mind you, I didn't know the amount of time they would be married. He was married for. So thinking about it, 20 years. I'm 40, so I'm thinking like 20 years. That's half somebody's.
Mhm.
That's
Okay,
a long time.
May
let
I
me
add something, Queen?
let me read the obituary real quick. As you can see, it's very colorful. They went on and explained everything with this history from start to finish. I'm not going to read it. You can go online and find it. I just want to read this small point, and then Tulsa, you can come in. It says, throughout his life, Curtis was a devoted father of 3. Gizelle is not the only child. And eventually, grandfather of 6.
There you go.
Gizelle's kids are not the only children. He was immensely proud of his children and grandchildren and loved visiting them, celebrating special occasion, knowing the details of their daily lives. Pause. Gizelle is the only child that we know so far that is
That's
even
Sue.
contesting the will.
And how successful are the kids? Because what
Hold
happens
on.
also
Watch
with
this. Watch this. Maybe the witnesses were the other children.
there you go. And how successful are they? Because think about it like this: if the kids are successful, why would the father leave them anything?
But maybe you remember DG, the attorney, said there has to be witnesses. Maybe, I don't know. The other kids were in the room when the will was quote unquote updated. And not only that, I want to say this one thing. In 2003, he retired from NASA. So not only was he a civil rights activist and a politician, y'all, the man worked for NASA. Hold on. He worked for NASA, and he was a director of educational programs and director of public affairs for 30 years. Okay, he retired from NASA in 2003, but 30 years before that. So this man is very accomplished, very achieved. And if you think about his pension, his legacy, his land, his money, all of that body of work that goes into a will, and nobody else is contesting it but
Listen,
Gizelle.
are one of those kids one of his wife's children?
How do we know that?
I'm asking.
Because
Is one of
it
one
would
of those
be, hold on.
Sorry.
It would be public. She's the only one that took it to court.
But are one of those kids his wife's child? Because it's 20 years now. You saying 20 years? How old is the wife? And is one of those her children? Her child.
But I don't know for a fact, Trey. I'm assuming because I haven't heard anybody else being mentioned as a plaintiff.
And we don't even know the other siblings. We don't even know. We don't know their
one
names.
of the siblings, one of his
So
kids,
of course,
one of her
Gizelle's
children.
going to be the one that we know about because she's on TV.
Go ahead, Trey.
Of course, Gizelle's going to be the one that we know about because she's going to be the one on TV. So since we're speaking hypotheticals, hypothetically speaking, the other kids might agree with her, but she's just the one that said, "Well, I have the money to take this to litigation, or I'm going to be the one to do this." So I don't know. We just don't.
That does happen.
Hold on. He married the new wife, y'all. Listen, in 2003. And he passed away in 2023. So he was married 20 years. Maybe they didn't update the will and they just took her ass out.
But question. This is Sean talking. Question.
Hold on. Do y'all hear me though? Look, hear me.
Yes.
Let that settle.
I hear you.
He didn't update it. He just took her out. I don't know.
But they married in 2023. So it's 2003. So 2003. So is one of the children one of his wife's child, one of his new wife's child? Because she could have 3 siblings, but one may not be by her mother.
Well, that don't matter. I think the point I'm trying to make is Gizelle has had 20 years to get along with this woman. Come on now.
Well, are you a daddy girl, and then your dad remarries? I've seen those kind of girls, black or white. They don't play around like that. So, and the other one, and the second wife say, she looking. But she not like gonna stand back and let the girl come and be the lady of the house.
So is it Gizelle's duty to make nice or befriend her father's new wife?
Absolutely.
20 years, yeah.
20 years,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
If you want some of this money, and I'm in charge.
And that's how you get booted out of the will.
Oh, if you want some of this money comes to me. Actually, I got some for y'all. If you want some of this.
Money comes to me, flowing effortlessly. Money comes to me, comes to me.
20 years, you better be, listen. We are on Christmas.
You better be on your best behavior.
Thanksgiving, New Year's.
Okay, but let's get into it because y'all
Halloween.
have been. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Sean.
Go ahead.
Or Shawnee.
Okay. So I was going to say, y'all are over here praising, and doing all this, and we need to protect Giselle. Well, listen here. I'm thinking that Giselle was over at Pastor Jamal Bryant's church because y'all know he was trying to, get people to come to the church and grow some tweed, right? So when we think about an activist, right, this man was out here trying to heal the world and trying to bring black people together. And this man was over here allegedly trying to teach people how to get high. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like he didn't want Giselle to smoke his legacy up. You get what I'm saying? When we think about
No.
Jamal Bryant, what was he out here doing? He was trying to get people to come on to church. We gonna teach you some things. Listen, they not focused on coming to church. They focus on trying to get high, allegedly. I said what I said. I'm gonna go on mute for a minute and let this marinate.
Go ahead. Listen. Okay, all Trey said, look, this is now, ladies, y'all chime in now because they're divided in the chat. Here's the question to the chat. You're the grown daughter or you're the grown wife, whatever role play you want to do. They said Trey's question is it really Giselle's responsibility to try to get along with the wife of 20 years? Yeah. If you want somebody, I'm gonna say yes if that's who your dad loves.
Mm-hmm.
You can be cordial.
Be cordial, yes. Cordial was getting along. Hey, how you doing? But they had no relationship. Purposely chose
No, they be
And
years.
cordial.
also, we don't know how they met and all that stuff, so we're not sure. If her mother's still
None of
alive,
that
or she's
matters.
gone.
They're married now.
I know they're
Yeah.
married now, but in 2003 he retired, and then he got married.
That's right.
The same year.
Right.
So again, he was not sure when he got divorced by the first wife. She did pass. She's still alive, right? She not passed away.
Yeah, but just think about this. My question is, don't overcomplicate it. Is it Giselle's responsibility?
Yes. If you want to stay in good graces with your dad, and that's the woman that he loves, yes. It's a hard pill to swallow, but you better drink it all the way down or do something else. I think that she would have to. And I think she was estranged. And it
Yes.
possibly seems like that when he was in the hospital, and that's all it really takes. You don't come to the hospital, you don't visit, the kids don't visit on their own, and they're in college and they don't bother to make their own trip to see how their grandfather is doing. That could very well get you out of your position in the will. So I think she made a
Okay.
mistake there. Hmm.
Okay, everybody hold on because they giving me a new piece of evidence every time. Look, we done went down a rabbit hole. They trying to say that hold on. What they're trying to say, everybody wait for your answers. Because I want to make sure I give you this. You may change your mind on something. They're trying to say that Giselle's dad divorced the first wife in 2003 and married the second wife in 2003. Let me fact check. Give me 1 second. And if that's true, I'll tell you if it's true. And then y'all keep going. Give me 1 second, but I think y'all need the facts. Hold on.
All right, while we wait, please make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you tell somebody that we are live. We are having adult conversations. Every opinion is welcome. Opinions are not facts, and we just want to have an engagement.
Okay. That's the Holy Spirit reminding you. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Wait a
I'm in
minute.
my own.
Okay, so
Ooh.
Judith in the chat, she said that his first marriage ended prior to 2003.
Oh,
So it wasn't,
prior to.
but they haven't made the exact date public.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Valerie, I'm gonna let you go.
All right. Okay. I'm so triggered over here with Giselle and her shit.
You triggered?
I'm triggered like hell. I'd have to go get me 2 drinks sitting over here listening to it. First of all, I no disrespect to anybody and everybody's opinion. However, Giselle is not a child. Yes, she has a responsibility. First of all, respect to her dad. If her dad elected to remarry and that's his wife of 20 years, she has a responsibility to respect her dad and gain a relationship with that woman. Now, in regards to whether or not those kids should have gotten some money, it's my opinion, and I'm standing on that. Again, that baby daddy had a responsibility to take care of her children. If the grandfather elected to leave something, the grandfather elected to leave something. I think what we're missing the point here. Oh, I understand about the legacy, but there was a marriage. That was not a 5 year marriage. That was not a 2 year marriage. That was a 20-year marriage. And where was Giselle? Did she wipe his ass anytime? Was she over there helping
Okay.
to clean the bed? I mean, come on, I'm over this part here because at the end of the day, she would have seen the decline that her dad was having going on if he was present. Sound like to me, I'm just on the outside looking in. Where was she? Period. I
Okay.
said what I said, and I'm done with it.
Pause. Everybody pause,
Okay.
pause, pause,
Wait.
pause, 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 pause.
Sorry.
Hold on. Because I like that. I like y'all to hear each other. Okay,
Yes.
who's getting in? Who's next? Go ahead.
Sean. Okay, so let's. Okay, she was married to the man. It's not a baby daddy.
Okay, well, he
She
had
was
8
married to
babies
the
on
man.
her. So
I get that, but okay, he wasn't baby daddy. But at the same time, I agree with you in the form of I do believe that Giselle. I think that the show took her away from her father a lot.
and the point
I
is, her father still needed, and
Hell
he
no,
was.
I
Hold on,
Shawnee.
I'm
no.
sorry.
What I'm trying to say is it's not right. It's not right. I think that when you have parents, I think some people should when it comes to okay, money is not good money. I think when it comes to your parent, when your parents are not doing well, you should step away from certain things to take care of your parents.
I 100%, and I'm gonna say this because
Your
I'm
parents birthed
living
you.
it
They
right now.
if you don't need the
I'm
money, you should take a step away from it. But at the same
Baby, I
time,
need the money, but
Let
my
them.
choice was to take care of my parents. And you have to make a decision.
Hold on, Shawnee.
if your
Shawnee,
parents are good
pause.
to you,
Shawnee,
oh
pause.
sorry,
Go ahead, Val, and then Shawnee, you gonna go.
Okay, I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm
Go
living
ahead,
it
Val.
right now. I'm living it right now. So I understand. I had to walk away I had to make a decision, take care of my parents or keep making this money. I had to downsize. And I don't regret it at all because it was more important. I can't get that back. I have one parent left. I can't get that time back. So guess what? We do what's important to us. What was important to Giselle is to make that money. What's important to me is, hey, I need to make sure that my mom is good. That's where I'm at.
All right.
So again, but I'm gonna say this much: knowing that Giselle had three siblings, I think there's some facade there with Giselle when it comes to her daddy. I do.
I have siblings too, but hell, I'm the one
No,
who has.
I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say is though, I think Giselle. One thing is when you bring your parents on a show and you show your parent as that's your dad, and you have this admiration for your father and these things. There's facade there for a show, and I think Giselle made a great mistake where it's like she came on the show and then came. You didn't know that this woman was the fact that he's been married to this woman for 20 years, and she didn't disclose that on the show. She made as if this woman has been in his life for like a short period of time.
I agree, and I think that Giselle tried to. I hate to say it, and it may sound cold to some. She played her father, tried to pimp her dad out. Her
Yeah,
dad
but
said at the table, "I'm
I'm
gonna."
asking,
Pause,
I'm
pause, pause.
asking Queen Sheba,
Go ahead.
help me out here. When it comes to like, okay, when it comes to your parents, the way Giselle presented her father, I felt as if we didn't know he had a wife when she was on when he went to Louisiana, he had a wife,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Queen
let's do
Sheba.
this.
So
Here's the
he
But
had a
that's
thing.
not
wife.
her
So why
mother,
was it?
though.
Why? But question: why wasn't that wasn't presented on the show that he had a wife originally? If it's
Let,
20 years, that's a long time.
okay, let's do this. The Real Housewives of Potomac premiered in 2016.
There you go.
Giselle's father married his second wife in 2003. So when Gizelle came on the screen, her dad had already been married 13 years.
15 years.
Right.
Just saying.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
So, Miss
No
Val,
excuse.
can I come
So
in?
what?
Hold on.
Miss
Go ahead,
Val,
Tulsa.
I just
Go
have
ahead,
to say
Tulsa.
something.
Go ahead,
Listen,
Miss
Tulsa.
Val,
back
I'm
to
gonna
you,
come
sir.
in on your defense
Okay.
because at the end of the day, this man married this woman. If the children were there and present, we know
Right.
that. The other children were there, they got
Mm-hmm.
something. You wasn't there. Your mind was somewhere else with Big Pimpin' in the
Huh.
church. Like
you
I've
don't know
said,
that
I
though.
don't, Miss Val, was
Huh.
she over there allegedly learning how to grow tweed? Because
Huh.
that's what he was on. Her
Hmm.
daddy's
Hmm?
legacy was not about bringing people down, destroying the mind with damn tweed. He was out here educating. He was
Huh.
out here saying you can be black, it don't matter where you come from, but you can be something.
That's right. And you up
And
there.
how many black people, how many black men do we know that work for NASA?
Y'all, I'm finna blow y'all out the water and I'm finna hang up on everybody. Gizelle was jealous of that woman. Giselle married,
Period. That part
listen,
right there.
Giselle married Jamal. Listen to me, y'all. I gotta go down the rabbit hole. I like facts. Giselle married Jamal in 2002. Her daddy
Not
got
lying.
married in 2003.
2003.
Giselle wanted, listen, both of them were new brides.
Yes.
That's where the hate comes in.
Yes.
Oh my God. I just want
Yes.
y'all to know that. That's
There
it.
was
And
a
she wanted her daddy to put her first, but he had a whole new wife, and it wasn't about you. Because it goes back to what we said, Queen Sheba. When we go down and we go before that judge and we give our vows and we say, yes, I do, everything else disconnect. It's about me. It's about
I
me and
don't
my
think
partner,
I don't think it's that. I think
my
Giselle
lifelong
wants to be
partner.
center of
Oh my
wants to be
God, today.
center. I think Giselle wants to be center of attention.
What's the,
Well, okay, let's do
She's
this.
center of attention.
y'all gonna have me
There's a
drunk
lot. There
tonight.
is a lot of
I got a
assumptions
glass of
going
wine
on
too.
here.
Well, come
But I
on, Miss
just
Val.
No,
I'm not,
And
I'm not
Queen
can I
drunk.
Sheba,
please?
can we stay here for a little bit longer,
No,
please, if you don't mind? I
y'all
know
gotta
we
let
didn't held
everybody
you.
I
else.
just
Y'all
need
gotta
for us
hold on,
to.
hold on. Wait. We gotta have one mic at a time. Y'all gotta let everybody else get in though. American born. Everybody mute up. Everybody mute up. We gotta let the other panelists get in. American born. What you got?
Listen, they done brought me back out. Now listen, y'all gonna leave Giselle alone. Now, what if that wife, the second wife, who we think is white, okay?
Okay.
What if she was a coleslaw?
Mm.
Maybe that's why she didn't have a relationship with that woman. She broke
Listen
up
here,
the
I'm gonna say
marriage.
this.
Hold on. Y'all quit cutting each other off. Go ahead.
She broke up the marriage, in my opinion, and she was a damn coleslaw. And Giselle said, I ain't having it. She loved her daddy like I love mine, and she was close to him. And he promised her money, by God, for her and her daughters, or at least for the grandchildren. And we don't know if the siblings were in on the lawsuit or not. We need to get the documents. Everybody get started on that, because we need to reassess this after we see the documentation. But I'm telling you, he promised them money, and that woman cut them all out. I don't
Okay.
care what any of you say.
Let me say this. Let me say this to this because we got to make sure we let the chat get in too. So the chat, Deborah said that's not fair to say about Giselle. We never met the stepmother. She could have been mean. No, she wasn't.
No,
Because
she wasn't. She
watch
took
this.
care of the daddy.
Another
Watch
assumption.
this. Because she was a fiance. She didn't get married until 2003. Giselle got married. So we can assume she was a fiance for at least a year. Typically, fiancés are on their best behavior.
Yep.
But can we say that she was getting it while the getting was good? Listen
No.
here.
Doing all
Yeah.
kinds of tricks.
I
She
don't
put
think
up with
that.
a whole bunch of crap for
That,
20
that,
years.
that is his daughter though. Giselle is his daughter. Regardless of whether that's his daughter. I believe Giselle loved her father.
I,
Period. And
I
if
just
she
think
loved her
y'all are
father,
okay.
I'm looking at it,
Can
Rob.
But
we
Queen
just say?
Sheba, you said
Can
it
we
earlier.
fix this
Oh, your
narrative that?
daughter can make you feel the way that wife made you
I
feel.
said that she
Listen
can't
here.
tickle your pickle.
She can't tickle your pickle. Listen here. I'm going to get you on in the room. I'll make you feel good. We're going to give you a massage. We're going to bust down. We're going to do all that. And baby, while we
me,
doing that, we're going to have a conversation before you have
maybe.
let me go on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So
Let
can we
Trey get
just
in.
can
Let
we
Trey get
correct?
in. Go ahead,
I just
Trey.
want us
Please,
to kind of
Trey.
correct this narrative that Giselle was not there for her father and all this, that, and the
I agree
third.
with you.
If we're going by the same um, things that we've seen on the show, Giselle spoke highly of her father on more than one occasion. Not only that, she did speak about going to the hospital on multiple occasions while he was there. She missed some of her filming because she was there caring for her father. Like,
Okay.
why are we? What I don't like that narrative, and I don't even care for Giselle like that as a character on the show. But it's a lot going on right now, and I'm just trying to just
That's
absorb it
fair.
all
But if
because
you
So Trey,
Okay.
it's just
Do
weird.
you think that the narrative of Giselle is that she just missed the point, like missed the. 'Cause I think that I think her having, I think honestly, I think when it comes to these shows, I don't think the parents should be on these shows. I don't. I think that they
Well, why
always be
not? We
parent.
got to see Ashley's mom and her taking
That
care of a man.
but here's what I'm trying to say though is I think that I'm on the show at the point where it's like at this moment, I think that we show parents, but then they don't show the aftermath of the parents. I don't think they. I think they should have showed Giselle going to the hospital with her father.
Okay.
They
But
didn't
listen,
show
can I
that.
say
Well,
this?
I don't. They
I'm
may
Huh.
not have had
thankful.
any type of. They may not have had any type of like uh
Clarence to do that.
leeway or clearance or anything for that. I
Okay.
think that she made him a part of her
It falls
storyline.
flat for it falls flat for her then because it's like she said it, but we didn't because we saw him on 2 episodes and then this happens and then
Okay.
now people are looking at her like she wasn't really there. But I don't know. It's just these shows are
Okay.
just
Let me let
annoying
let me
me.
let let me let Dawn go. Go ahead, Dawn. Dawn. In 5, 4. Uniboo, you want to get in?
Val want to.
Hold on. Let me drop some of these profiles. Give me 1 second. Uniboo, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
All right. My thought. Still don't like her, but I think beside, I think beside her, marry and then go back to Pastor Holy Whore. I think it's her the way she act on the show might have upset her father because let's say on the show she is hella messy. Um, she go for people's husband unprovoked, and she say accusable things that can literally change people's life for worse. So if that was my daughter on a show, and I have a will and I have money and this, that, and the third, and I'm supposed to write you on my will, and you out here acting like a damn banshee on the
Mm,
show, like a baboon on the show, I'm not really going to put you on the damn will
well,
because it's like if I'm your father, if I'm like your mother, I'm a leader, in the community, a civil act movement. I'm expecting you to act accordingly. Why are you being so damn messy for no reason? Why are you being so mean spirited for no reason?
mm,
Because if you want part of my legacy, why you're not representing my legacy as you should? That's
mm.
Mm.
what I'm thinking. Because I'm thinking it's not just Pastor Holy Whore he's mad about. I think
Y'all need to quit
he's
calling that
mad.
man that.
I'm sorry. That's
Y'all
What
what
is
I'm gonna
his
call
wrong.
name
him.
again? Pastor who?
Pastor Holy Whore. That's what I'm gonna call him. But that's
But
what I'm saying. Like it's not just him. I think she's messy on the show. And all those accusations she actually put on what's his bald head, white man bald head, Candace's husband. All
Chris.
those
mm,
yeah,
mm.
Chris, all those like nasty accusations she put on him,
Oh,
kind of
now hold
like
on now.
Well,
like I
here's
I
the
wouldn't
thing.
I wouldn't be like, all right, you representing me like you're the daughter of someone that's part of
I
the
don't think it's
civil
gonna
act,
like
that's a
that.
pillar in
Hold on,
the
y'all.
community.
Okay, let's do this. Everybody wait. Dawn. Dawn was waiting patiently. Come back up here, Dawn. Let me let Dawn go. And so Dawn can go to bed. Dawn, click the link real quick. Because we ain't got nothing but time tonight. We all up here having a but Dawn may have to get up early.
A good
You
Okay.
better
time.
say that, Queen. And listen here, you guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell somebody that we are live. Listen
Yes.
here, we are having a great conversation, adults only. If you want to sound off, Queen Sheba is dropping the link in the chat. So feel free to come on up. All opinions are welcome. You are not going to be shunned. Go ahead, Queen.
All right.
Oh,
So
Queen,
hold
give your
on.
spiel. You hone in on the what?
Yeah, but
Psychological and behavioral traits of the Black experience. But listen, let me say this. First of all, I gets down for Gizelle. That's what y'all don't understand. I be windmilling for Gizelle when nobody else does. I done got a lot of hate over here. I'm Team Jizzy, but I'm also woman enough to be able to pivot and say, you know what, Gizelle, or to give y'all a good show. Well, we are really kind of pulling back and examining things from all sides. Just because I like somebody, don't mean I get stuck there.
Giselle's
I
always
know how.
wrong.
I know. Listen, it's called a lazy suit. What is it? A lazy Susan?
That
I
turns around.
Yeah, I know how to take a conversation and examine it from all sides. In order
Yeah.
to be a great content creator, blogger, facilitator, you got to be able to step outside of who you like and put some great ass conversation on the table. And I can do that all day, every day. So don't be thinking that I don't like Gizelle because we're having this conversation
That
of
part.
what ifs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Giselle,
let
if
me
you're in
just
the
say this,
bushes,
Queen.
click the link, Giselle. If you're in the bushes, we know you're listening.
Yeah.
She
And I'm
here.
gonna say this as a trans
Yeah.
woman, I have spoken to my dad. We are gonna have a meeting with my other siblings. We're gonna get his affairs in order, and I feel like we all. This is a teachable moment. That's why I come over here, Queen. This is a teachable moment. We need to sit down with our parents. Hey, you know. If I go or you go, or whatever the case may be, we need to make sure everything is in order. We don't need to be doing no fish fries and all that. And I believe, Queen, you really opened up the conversation and saying, hey, have that conversation with your parents, get a policy on it. Everybody, you pay on it and make sure, things are in order because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
I would say this, and let me go to Dawn. I think what you said is just important. My only recommendation, instead of this and this, say I would like to be responsible for you financially. God forbid that you're not here tomorrow. And this is what I think. I don't mind paying for a policy. I'll take charge of it. I'll pay for it. But I don't have a problem being responsible to make sure that I give you a good home going. That's all I got. Dawn, welcome.
Um, that's me, right? Well, I don't know. I just think that someone and these, before what, 38 and 1920s babies, you really can't tell them how to run their lives, and you can
Correct.
make suggestions. They are, I don't know, bulls in a china shop. They have a steadfast stance, and this is how they want it. Now, someone illegally changing things, I don't know, but I just think that he's someone that, she should have really tried to make amends with the woman in his life
Yeah.
and his partner and his wife partner. And I think that she was used to being a daddy's girl and having this relationship with him. And he certainly, told her that this is who I'm in love with. And I think she should have honored that. I think it's more to it than that. I think she exhibited some bad decisions and he saw that, and I think that was it. Now, another thing I wanted to just point out to Queen in the chat and everyone, that oftentimes I think that people with second marriages, they really need to look out for their kids, because what if she has children? What if her children inherit everything that this man has? I mean, of course, it's his business to leave it to whomever he wants to, but wow, just to
But
ignore
who's
any of and all
present,
your kids.
sissy?
I'm sorry. That's it.
But who's present? It's like, okay, are these children showing up? These are your biological children.
Yes.
Okay, let's just say this. Okay, so I'm in a second marriage and I have my own children,
Hmm.
and my husband has children from a previous marriage, but they are not present. They are not checking on him. They're not showing up. Hey, he's in the hospital. He's ill. They're still not showing up. I've done my due diligence by reaching out to them, but I can't make my focus on them. I have to make my focus on my husband because I want him to make it through. What are your thoughts? Sound off.
Let me say this. Let me remind you. Let's talk about the facts. The fact of the matter is, when Gizelle's father started to date his second wife, Gizelle was a fiance dating Jamal Bryant. When Gizelle married Jamal Bryant, her father was engaged to his second wife, or soon to be engaged. So 1 year into Gizelle's marriage as a newlywed, Gizelle got married in 2002. Her father got married in 2003. Gizelle was busy pleasing Jamal. Gizelle probably did not have a lot of time to focus on her father because she was married to Jamal Bryant from 2002 to 2009. For I can assume, as a first lady of a church for 7 years, you probably had little to no time to focus on anybody but your husband and the responsibilities of the church. And then you start to give birth to children, right? And then that relationship ends, blah, blah, blah. And then 2016, 7 years after your divorce, you come on the Real Housewives of Potomac, right? And that started in, so then your dad, it's a lot. And I wouldn't be shocked if there was a little bit of competition with Gizelle competing for daddy's love and a new wife for daddy's love. That's all
Good
I'm
point.
Well,
Yeah.
Queen, the thing is, even if they did have some type of rift or whatever it is, the other fact is her father sat on television and told her that he had something in his will for her children. So
Right.
if he so once he dies and then she finds out that her kids ain't got nothing and she ain't got nothing, I too would
She's
be
in a
looking around
spiral.
like what is going on? I too would
And
be
Queen
trying to go to
Sheba, can
court
you
and
tell
and
people not
and
to drop
and,
their
and fight
cash
for
apps in
that.
your chat?
inbox.
Somebody's trying to drop their cash app in your chat. Can you please tell them not to do that?
Can you hear me, Tosa?
I can.
Okay, but send me that in the back chat so you don't interrupt Trey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Trey.
Um, yeah, if he, I too would. If I was her daughter, if I was Gizelle, I too would be looking around the corners like, what's going on? We need to get this situation taken care of. I need to figure out what's going on because I was told something. Then when everything hits the fan, all of a sudden everything has changed. So I need to know. So yeah, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take the wife to court and see about this will because it's not what I was told. I think that's the beginning and the end of it. I don't blame her for that. Now I don't blame him for changing his will if he did it not under duress and under with people around to watch him do it. I don't
Yep.
blame him for spending his money how he wants to, but I don't blame her for feeling some type of way if it didn't go the way that she was told.
Okay, so let's do this. Salome, we're not taking up donations, but thank you for asking. So let's continue, everybody. Let's do this. Y'all done got me off now. Shawnee. Shawnee in 5. Go ahead. Shawnee. Child, let me take Shawnee out. But that's an excellent point. Trey. Shawnee, go, Shawnee.
Hello.
Go ahead.
All right. I didn't hear anything because.
Okay, let me go to the next caller. Let me
Yeah,
go to
go to
Sharon. Go ahead, B&G.
You ever remember the movie The Bio with Megan Goods and her father Samuel L. Jackson? Remember how her dad would always put her on a Little Miss Princess and everything else, and how she changed? That's Giselle. She's daddy girl. He put her that way, and that's how it went. And I think that I do believe he said that to her because she not gonna let that go because that's what she believed what her dad told her, that he would give things for her daughters, and that's what she hold on to. For his, this is what has happened in court. If her father was diagnosed with brain cancer, the day that the doctor told him that he had brain cancer, they can find out did he change the will after he was notified. If he would, if after he was notified he had brain cancer, he changed that will. They can, the court can, was it undo that will if he had brain can if he had brain cancer and then he gonna change the will after that. They will. I have seen courts have undone the will for that reason.
All right.
And
Well,
like for the young lady.
Wait, Shawnee.
For the young lady who said she got her own kids and well she married and she got kids by him and she got step kids. Depends on the look at your state laws how that works. But in my case, me and my husband had 2 kids and we also have step kids. Right now, everything is in my name. If something happens to them, everything is in my name.
All right, so we're about to wrap up. I'm gonna give y'all 15 seconds each, y'all. We gotta plow through.
Well, real quick, what she just said is how it works. Just because something's in your name does not mean it goes to your kids. If you have a husband who you're married to, it goes to him. When it comes to will testament, get an attorney and make sure it's in writing and through an attorney. And trust me, do not think that because you have a name, your husband gets it, whether you are not with him anymore or anything else. Make sure it's legal binding, please. Do not go off last. Don't do that.
You're saying Pennsylvania is that's how it is in Pennsylvania.
That is not how it is. Trust me, it's not.
All right.
It's not.
Well, listen, we're going to wrap it up because it's almost 1 a.m. my time. So thank you, everybody, for coming up tonight. I appreciate all of the panelists. This was a hell of a conversation, but they always say quit when you're having a good time. And I think we've had a good time. So I'm going to let everybody drop down. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Can I give closing words, Queen?
That's me, Tulsa.
Oh, I just want to say thank you.
Okay, say thank you.
I just want to say thank you for having us. And this was a great, yes, this was a great conversation. I think that you educated the community on so many things as far as like insurance and making sure our elders are protected and making sure that, you know, if one of our family members are in a need, you know, that we're showing up, not for the benefit, but because that we care. And I just want to say thank you so much for having this. It really opened up another conversation. So thank you so much, girl, and continue to let God keep using you.
Thank you, Tosa. I appreciate it.
No
Thank
problem.
you, everybody.
All right,
And I
bye-bye.
didn't realize it was almost 1 a.m. So we out of here. Good night, everybody. I'm kicking everybody out the studio. Good night. I didn't realize it was almost like we've been having so much fun. I didn't realize it. I had no idea, y'all. This is as late as we've been up. So listen, it was good. I'm sleepy too. I was like 1 a.m. No, don't worry about Connie. Connie is banned. I caught it. Connie's out of here. Listen, I don't play that shit. But anywho, don't even give it no. DG, don't even give it no. I caught it. It's out of here. It's been handled. That's it. But this has been a hell of a conversation. We're ending on a positive. I always think that's a great place to end. Man, this is good, y'all. Life insurance policies. Make sure it don't matter. And listen, I'm gonna say this: daddy's girl, mama's boy. Your parents are not obligated to put you above their spouse. That's it. That's all. Of course, especially if they got married in a church. What's the point of them saying vows and committing their life and becoming one if you expect to be the one? Y'all out of order. I don't care if you are daddy's girl. I don't care if you are mama's boy. They leave and cleave. That's their spouse. What's the point of you going to the wedding to bear witness of their union and wishing the best for them when secretly in your heart You hoping to get everything. Y'all out of order. Don't be out of order. Don't be out of order. So just know when you go to a wedding, if you are a child, adult child, or if you are the parent, don't be, if you cannot truly understand what marital vows are, don't go. Don't go to the weddings. Because weddings are for people, family, friends that really want to see you do well, even if it means they lose something. And to expect your parent or your child to put your well-being over the needs of their spouse whom they vowed and took an oath unto God, I don't care. You're out of order. And let me tell you something. I don't give a damn if the wife changed it 5 minutes before he passed. She's the wife. They became one. That's her God-given right. If he married her in the church, leave and cleave, they are one. You may not like it, but that's who he chose to marry. He may have told her, he very well may have said, you're in a will. But Valerie told you it. She said, I've been married for years. My kids will find out when they find out. I'm not going to go back and forth with you about my legacy when I got a whole husband or I have a whole wife over here. You'll find out when. That's it. That's all. And you know, men like Giselle's father I'll be dead and gone. It won't matter to me. You know, they come from that era. You'll find out when you find out. And if Gizelle is truly the first lady that she says she was, she should understand that. It may hurt a little bit. You may question it a little bit. But you know what? If you get your affairs in order, you'll be fine. And that's why we host these kind of conversations. It's perfectly okay for you to get your own thing set up with your parents or to get your own thing set up with your kids. Because some of you have adult kids and you don't like who they've chosen. You don't trust that person will be fair to them. But the least that you can do is make sure that you're straight and that you got something where you can set up your grandkids. If that person that they chose, because that's what they're choosing, if that person that they chose, you don't trust to take care of them. That's it. And it was done legally. And the judge said, it's okay. And it could be a hard lesson, but it's also an opportunity for those of you that are tuned in and say, ooh, I don't ever want to learn that hard. And now I understand that parents, even though we love them, a mom or a daddy can tell me anything because they may not want to be bothered with my attitude. They may not want me to be going back and forth. Let me tell you something. Everybody gonna always choose peace in their household, even if that means, yeah, you in the will. You're gonna get everything. Child, please. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. And tomorrow we will tackle the bulk of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Good night, everybody.